one, but it's...
Yes, ball good.
Yeah. Ball good.
Nothing beats that.
Well, we're going to be moving on from Rocket League. That was our final Rocket League match. We're going to be moving into Valorant now. And we're going to have 2 semifinal matches followed by the grand final. So we will have lots and lots of tasty Valorant for you. There, I did it again. Food adjective. Didn't even mean to. First one is going to be West Virginia. The next one is going to be, versus Northwood. So we're going to see more Northwood coming up. What do we know about Northwood in Valorant?
Oh man, they were.
No, go ahead, Fawn.
I mean, they were cooking yesterday. Like they definitely were. they definitely were A1 yesterday. I always love watching Valorant. I love watching Northwood's players as well. I feel like the game shouldn't have went as long as they did in some aspects yesterday, but I definitely think that
was just the broadcast in general, my dude.
Right. Yeah, I definitely think that there's like a lot to Northwood once again. Like we saw how well that they were doing throughout Rocket League, and now here in Valorant, they perform just as well.
I think Northwood is one of the top 3 teams coming into the Valorant side of things here. No surprise, Northwood's a top team in another esport, right? They have a chance to win this one as well. But San Jose State was like their big rival. They were the #1 seed coming into this, and then group plays went totally differently. But Northwood came into this competition saying, we want to face Hawaii. They're like our online rival. Hawaii came in as the #6 seed, and then Northwood has to face West Virginia, surprise, surprise, because Hawaii was in the same group as Northwood, right? And this is where things get a little complicated. Northwood had to play Hawaii in groups. They didn't like that. They said, we want to play them in the elimination bracket. We want to kick them out of the tournament. So it just so happened they lost to them in the group play 13-15, right? So it was back and forth. It was tied. Hawaii won by 2. They went 3-0 in the group. Northwood, their only loss in the group, 2-1, was to Hawaii. So Hawaii came out of groups as the #1 seed. Northwood came out of the groups, I think, as the #4 seed. Then they're going through the brackets. It's West Virginia versus Hawaii. The winner faces Northwood, and Northwood has to be livid because they don't get the rematch. They don't get the elimination match against the team they wanted. They have to face West Virginia, which, by the way, anyone out there who watches college basketball, West Virginia's college basketball team, they're nicknamed Press Virginia because they full court press no matter if they're winning, losing, or whatever the score is. They've done this for like the last 4 years. And the West Virginia Valorant team in the passion pit back there, standing up after every single round, screaming at their opponents. They are Press Virginia here today, and they get to go up against Northwood, who I think is just going to come out and be like, look, we're not going to mess around like we were yesterday and start giving up rounds late into the game. Right. We need to get rid of this team because they're not even supposed to be in front of us. It's supposed to be Hawaii. We wanted Hawaii. They always blame ping when we play online because they live in the middle of the ocean. We don't want that to be a discussion. We want to destroy them in the elimination bracket. We lost to them by 2 rounds in overtime. We don't want to have to deal with that. We want to beat them. They don't get them. Now they have to deal with West Virginia.
The other semifinal match, of course, University of Houston versus San Jose. So lots of team names that we haven't gotten to watch quite a lot yet, but we're going to watch them very, very soon as Valorant comes right up. But in the meantime, if you want to grab a snack and you want to make a healthy change in your lifestyle, Drink Control is the perfect way to start. It's the best tasting meal replacement on the market. Stop spending lots of money on delivery or eating junk food and make a change today. Visit drinkcontrol.com. We will be right back after this break to crown our final champion in the Valorant Grand Finals. Don't go anywhere. The Collegiate Esports Commissioner's Cup is presented by Microsoft CW. Barbasol. Go to barbasol.com/Dominion to see all the limited edition Jurassic cans. New Street. New Street helps you navigate the collectibles markets with confidence. Visit newstreet.com to find out more. McDonald's. Download the McDonald's app for exclusive deals and easy ordering. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by the U.S. Air Force. See if you can command the stack in the U.S. Air Force's award-winning augmented reality flight experience mobile game available in the App Store. In partnership with CSMG, transforming traditional sports and esports. EsportsU, the flagship of collegiate esports. Skillshot Media, the official broadcasting partner of the CECC. Atlanta Esports Alliance, location host of the CECC 2022 in Atlanta, Georgia. Esports Foundry, official tournament operator for the CECC. Microsoft and CDW Education are working together to build and support esports programs that enable students to learn and grow, develop their skills, and be prepared for the future. If you want to learn more, check out cdw.com/esports, and a huge thank you to us From us to Microsoft and CDW Education, we're thrilled to be here. We are your analysts and hosts here at the desk, and we're just about to get into the final match for Valorant. It's going to be Northwood versus San Jose. We've talked quite a bit about Northwood already. Should we talk about San Jose a little bit?
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. Do you guys want me to start or should you?
Hey,
I've been talking a lot, so
by all means, if you want to take the break, we can take it from here.
I'll tell you, you got this, man.
No problem whatsoever. Blue, you want to go first, or
Well, I got some intel from our boy Tanner Metro down there. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. Everyone keeps calling him Tanner Metro. So
He loves it. I know he's a huge fan of that.
I love Tanner Metro. I have only caught a little bit of him casting online, and now that I get to see him in person, Mimi's great, Tanner's great. They're both great together, and I will actually sit and watch Valorant 24/7 if it's those two casting it.
One might say their casting is delicious.
That's
one.
Yes, that's one.
Decadent.
Can we get a counter on the screen? No, but okay, so West Virginia went up against Northwood, of course, and now San Jose State University, they went up against the University of Houston in their semifinal matchup, and actually if Northwood would have beaten Hawaii in groups and came out as that 3-0 #1 seed, they would have been, or the #2 seed, they would have been the ones that would have had to face Houston in the bracket. So now it could be a Houston versus Northwood, but again, San Jose State won. San Jose State had a little bit of a scare yesterday, actually. They were the #1 seed coming into the pool play. Then the groups kind of determined who would be the seeding going into the bracket, and they were knocked down to that #2 seed just because of round count. Hawaii came out with a +23. I think San Jose State came out with like a +20, so just not even that many rounds separating them, right? So they are prime and they're ready to go, but the scare that they had yesterday was surprising. It was against Rutgers, which was a team that they had to go against twice in the qualifiers. They beat them in winners, then they had to go against them again in grand finals, I believe. So they lost a map to Rutgers, but here they lost a map again out of a best of 3, which is very scary in Valorant. And also, San Jose yesterday, before they faced Rutgers, was done with groups 5 hours before Rutgers. And Rutgers was like, we're done with groups. In about 15 minutes, we got to go play San Jose. And they do. And that's when they took a map off of them. So they've shown that gods, again, can bleed. Can they be killed? That's up to Northwood, again, which is a team that kind of starts off really fast, and they get a little cocky and start using all of their econ a little too willy-nilly. And then, of course, they lose a couple rounds. They're like, whoa, guys, put the seatbelts back on, okay? It ain't safe no more.
Is that what you guys think we'll see in this match? Northwood coming out too fast?
So that's definitely, it's actually so funny that you mentioned that, because in my notes, like based off of what I was watching yesterday when they were playing against Texas A&M, in gameplay wise, Northwood's pacing is actually something that you have to be very concerned about. A lot of the times, whether we were looking at Ascent, whether we were looking at Haven, they were getting outpaced in those very few beginning rounds, right? There's a lot of times where they were actually being super aggressive. They weren't ready for it. The util popped immediately. Now you have to deal with, okay, I can't see anything. Now I have to deal with Northwood rushing onto site, right? And I think that's something that they actually will have to look out for, is the fact that they can't really get overwhelmed. The biggest thing that sort of put a stall in Northwood is the fabled ye old legend of the 3-9 curse that happened multiple times yesterday with them, and something that I definitely would say they need to look out for. I think they had a little bit of an issue trying to close out games a couple times yesterday, and also along with that is the knowledge of, you know, the new character Fade not being allowed in tournament. I had checked in like with Mimi, and we had a conversation about this earlier this morning, was about the fact that you're not allowed to use Fade. It is competitive standard that you can't do that. Right? I thought it was a GA or gentleman's agreement, but it's actually just competitive ruling. You can't use them a week out, which makes complete sense. It's only a week since the character's been out, and they're also really, really strong. So you definitely don't want to be in a situation where not only do you not know what they're doing, but you're getting messed up by it too, right? So that's definitely something that you have to keep in mind.
With all of that in mind, let's take a look at the keys to victory for Northwood and then San Jose. Brought to you by Microsoft CDW. What are they going to have to do?
I think the cool thing about this is, from the prep that I noticed, a lot of the time is the top 5 is actually super, super equal.
Yeah.
You talk about the ability to adapt and overcome. That applies a lot. When you have close rounds, it is going to come down to those mistakes that we've seen Northwood actually been making. This was the event that a lot of these rosters, specifically San Jose, said, hey, this is a good chance for the top 5 to separate themselves. The fact that they were a roster that actually was no longer considered a top dog, and now they find themselves in the grand final, I think has to go with that first point, is that mid-round adaptation. They've had the ability to make those subtle changes, but not too much to where they're straying from what they're comfortable with. Northwood on the other side, it doesn't say it on there, but I'm going to say it. They're going to close out these series.
Yeah,
like
they
it is the number one thing. You can't keep going up this heavily and then get willy-nilly with your, your economy and whatever you're doing and just relaxing. Like 9-3 should not be a thing that you throw away and bring us back to like 12 to 10. Like it should not happen. You need to close out the series.
I think that goes with that first one, mid-round adaptation. I think that's like really when they start to say, okay, we're up 9-3 at halftime, and then they're like, okay, what's happening here? I mean, each player on that team, especially like Ali, Benji, we saw it yesterday, they have that ability to pop off at any moment. If it's 1v5, it's not really 1v5, right? We saw Ali get an ace. We saw a 1v4 from Ali. We saw Benji go crazy. We saw a 30 bomb from someone on that team.
Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler. Which, by the way, we talked about parents. I think
very
Tyler's,
nice, happy monster.
I think Tyler's parents are here, or his dad at least, and they say Tyler's dad, I think, is the one that walks around in Tyler's jersey, saying,
awesome.
That's my son. So, he's got the land buff plus the parent buff.
Well, we're going to see if that's going to be enough, but San Jose's keys to victory are coming right up. Can Northwood adapt to their play style? In the meantime, what are they going to do?
Once again, adapting mid-game. I think that's one of the biggest things that we see as a commonplace term around here, right? You're talking about a situation where you have to be able to not let the round crumble. Things may be going poorly, but you can still regroup, readaptate. And there's a lot of times yesterday where I saw people were just peaking dry and not using utility. You definitely have to be able to do that. That's a part of that adaptation. Good communication and high energy, mental fortitude. I feel like you can mesh all of them together into one, right? It's about having a good cohesive team, and having all three of those things is something you have to maintain. The fact that they need to maintain higher energy, mental fortitude means that it's a little bit of a struggle for them to actually do that, right? When things are going rough, I'm absolutely telling you, there's a few games out there to where if you're losing, you feel like trash. Valorant is definitely one of those games. If you're losing gunfights, if you're not performing that well, it's very, very hard to restabilize that mentally, and that's important.
It's actually similar to we saw Overwatch earlier with ISU, and it felt like sum of parts is the answer for SJSU. It seems like they have the individual skill, but sometimes they get ahead of themselves, or someone is playing individually and it gets punished, and then all of a sudden, okay, now we're playing at a disadvantage. Right. But if they keep that communication up and it all carries through, there's no reason why they can't take. Both these teams are coming in 2-0. I think the Northwood series was probably a little bit more one-sided, but for the most part, both are coming in at 2-0 victories. They're feeling confident. So when you get that first adversity that you're going up against, that is when we're going to see the testament of these rosters. How do they balance? How's the mental fortitude? How are you guys feeling? Which I'm excited to watch. I think this is going to be our closest one yet, and it's going to be a bout. I'm really looking forward to these two battles.
You have all seen the trophy down there sparkling, but there's more than just that on the line. We have a wonderful prize pool for these players. Let's take a look at that. In Valorant, first place is going to be awarded $3,000, second place $2,000, third place $500, and that MVP is going to get that special buff. An extra $1,000 goes to them. So, knowing that important thing is on the line, knowing that we have parent buffs, knowing what these teams are going to have to do for their keys to victory, we need your predictions. Who wants to go first?
I'm going to go last because whatever I say, the opposite will happen. The only prediction I've gotten right, I think, this entire weekend was that Northwood game for Rocket League.
Well, you are the Rocket League expert.
I still get to be.
Let's start with you then, Blue.
So here's the thing. Northwood had the easier opponent to kind of warm up with in the semifinals. West Virginia had a open road. All they had to do was beat Georgia Tech in groups. They lost to San Jose State in groups. So just beating Georgia Tech. The other one was Fort Scott, the community college. So just beating those two teams got them through this bracket, and they beat Hawaii somehow. But they ended up losing to Northwood. So San Jose State, I think, had the better warm-up, the better competition to warm them up in semifinals. But again, Northwood, out of San Jose State, the only one of the two that has played on main stage already this weekend. So I'm going to have to take Northwood, although San Jose State is looking like they want to be that #1 team that people kind of say they are #1, but they're not #1, but they are #1, but they aren't. It's like picking the petals off a flower. Yeah.
What about you?
I'm actually going to have to go with Northwood personally. I think that Northwood, I feel like their pacing is so aggressive that a lot of teams, it's hard to adapt to a situation like that, right? They're really in your face. They can be really, really aggressive, and I think that's something that I didn't see a lot of the teams sort of utilizing yesterday. I feel like if that small communication of being able to actually close a game out, that is going to be huge for Northwood. That actually, I feel like, is what can allow them to win and take a fight over very easily.
All right, 2 Northwoods.
Time to do this. I think we're
Go
going to
the
go for the
other
clean
way?
sweep. No, we're going to go for the clean sweep. I think we're
Okay.
actually going to go with Northwood.
Okay.
This is a team that they've only been together for 2 to 3 semesters, and in the last semester they've actually looked a little bit beatable, but the benefit is everybody coming into this says that they are the team to beat, and I don't foresee that changing. After watching Tyler and everybody else get involved, there is no way that I have expectations. So this is me cursing it. So we're going to try to bring this into light and see if it is actually real, but I do have Northwood. I think they look strong.
So from the analyst desk, we have a ruling team story or an underdog story, and we will find out very soon what that story will be as we head down to the floor and meet our players.
Welcome to the stage, Northwood. Versus San Jose State. Will San Jose's winning streak come to an end? These teams have not played each other yet. The pressure is on, the championship on the line. So the big question now is who's winning? Nice shades, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. It's pretty clear here. Northwood's going to be winning. I mean, come on, we just won Rocket League. It's a no-brainer.
Oh, talking a little smack there. Okay, who's taking it? You just heard what your opponent said.
I already know we're about to win. We've been together for about 2 years now. I know we're going to take this home.
Ooh, I love the confidence, and I love the electricity in here. Let's get it hyped in here. Okay, let the series begin.
Oh, how's the defense? We're gonna get the clock now, and he's actually just gonna stick a nice flash on the outside. The last one standing. For how much longer? He's full health. No, Sam pushes through and clutch.
Well, the desk looking standard in the way they think this one is going to go. Predictions going all the way towards Northwood, but we heard it from the SJSU players. And the thing is, Tanner, we have seen them prove this before. SJSU, a squad that made it all the way to that Red Bull Campus Clutch event. They have competed at an international stage. They have been in this position before, and now we have to see if they can live up to the expectations, if they can show us what they're worth, if they can show us that that experience rings true, or maybe for Northwood, it's proving that it's not just an online result. Avelcat and Tanner, of course, bringing you through this one. What are you thinking on the series?
Yeah, so coming into this, obviously not knowing that SJSU would be making it this far, having seen the two teams, the only two teams for Valorant that actually got main stage action, it was one of them was Northwood, the other one went home. So I thought that that would be a huge testament to what they can bring to the table. They've already kind of busted that rust, shaking off the nerves. Unfortunately, they are playing an SJSU squad, which you heard they're together for 2 years, and just playing all over the place from the Tier 2 scene, the Tier 3 scene, whatever it may be, and then they bring it back together. As we take a peek at our Microsoft CDW map layouts here, it's SJSU taking us to Breeze to get things started. And then we're guaranteed Haven. And should we need it, Mimi, map 3's a set.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting setup to go on into. SJSU, for them, I think Breeze is a map that they feel very comfortable in heading their way into. I think the thing I'm looking for most is Northwood previously, obviously, they showed that they are a strong starting team, that they are a team that is very heavy on that attack and are often struggling on that defensive side. I'm looking again on this one. What is their aggression looking like in the mid-round? Because aggressions, it felt like that was just the name of the game for them. That was their big point of success. But the thing is, SJSU is a team with a ton of experience. SJSU is a team with discipline, and I don't think it's going to be as many cracks given away and as many opportunities to exploit those extremities, to exploit that aggression. I'm almost expecting for Northwood for them to kind of have to reassess heading into this matchup.
Yeah, what we saw from Northwood was it was quick, it was fast, it was all together, and they were making it work. But that was also against a TAMU squad that was okay in relinquishing that space. They were giving it on up to Northwood, and well, that's half the battle, is taking the space. Like you said, SJSU, they're not looking to do that. And the first two maps that we're headed to, they've got a lot of space, especially Breeze, and you can absolutely expect that SJSU, defensive side, attacking side, whatever it may be, they're going to be fighting for it.
Yeah, just a best out of 3 as well. So a lot of pressure on these players for sure when it is just those 3 maps. Not that full best of 5, not a whole lot to fall back on. For SJSU, I think a lot of their strength will come later in towards that map pool in terms of like the maps that they're stronger at. However, from what we've seen of this team, I think that they are one that is comfortable in going down. They've been in positions before where they've failed. They've come back. Yeah. Northwood, on the other hand, to be honest, they've had a pretty clean sweep, both through the online play since they become a team and here at LAN in person for CECC. So the question is, are they ready for that new added pressure? Are they ready for an opponent that might test them just a little bit more? It is a lot of questions. This team obviously with a ton to prove to kind of make up for showing that they have taken that spot, because for the longest time, SJSU, they were all but certainly the best team we had here in North America for the collegiate space. And now that's very much come into question. It's about reclaiming the throne for them. Yeah, and what's cool is we heard from the desk, right, SJSU, they've shown a little bit of weaknesses, but just because you can make, you know, the gods bleed, does that mean that you can actually take them down? So it's kind of this David and Goliath story that we've got going on between these two squads. And I mean, obviously here on the main stage for the grand finals, to really wrap up the event and kind of put a nice little bow on it, what better place to look to get things done as we are just waiting to get on into the lobbies here. Again, Breeze going to be that first map. It is the pick of SJSU. Now, from the semifinals, yesterday was a long day. And the way that the groups had played, some of these players, they had long breaks as they played through their quarterfinals, and that's probably where we saw a little bit of wavering. That Rutgers map picked up, you heard the desk say it, Blue SA, and Rutgers just finished their officials, and SJSU are coming off of deathmatch warm-up. You know, it's not quite the same as playing those officials. Now that we're here, semifinals has already happened, and these players are warmed up. Yeah, for me, for SJSU, you have to bring into the question their experience, because obviously we heard 2 years as a team. They have been together for ages in this collegiate space, but there was also a stint where they kind of took a little bit of time off, stopped competing together for collegiate, and tons of these players were off playing in the NSGs, playing in the Night Stars, playing out there within like the official pro scene in Tier 2 and making names for themselves. I mean, you see it up there on the screen. One of the members even signed to Metro Esports just recently, that happening on through. Like, these guys have competition, not just at this collegiate level, but a step above as well in towards Tier 1, edging closer towards that kind of Tier 1, Tier 2 scene. Obviously, they're not fully there anymore, but still, that experience in so many different environments, different teams, it gives you a different perspective, and I think it gives you an advantage, especially on a stage like this. Yeah, what I think is cool, speaking of experience, and not necessarily just Valorant experience as a whole, although I will give a shout out to Dip. I have seen Dip kind of dipping his toe into that Tier 2 scene, trying to get on out there. Again, low-hanging fruit. We got to get out of the way. We're picking it up off the ground and getting rid of it to get to the, you know, the fruit at the top of the tree eventually, should we need it. But Tyler was a player that we saw yesterday go absolutely crazy. Also a player that's been highlighted to flex not necessarily just agents, but also to flex games. So having that extra mind coming from a different title, it gives you so much more, and I think that's why we see him play so well on that Sova. As we look to jump on into things, it's the agent select here as we head into map number 1 of the grand finals. Again, it's SJSU, and it's Northwood, and it starts right here on the beach. Yeah, Fig, he's going to be flexing on towards that initiator role. This is something that he plays quite often, I believe. I haven't seen a whole ton of that Metro Esports squad, but I think it is the role he's playing there as well. The players I'm watching here in way of the head-to-head is Dip versus Teddy. Sure, I think it definitely was players like Ali, players like Ferbsa in a way, Tyler especially as that flexible guy stealing the show yesterday. But I think Dip, especially on a map like this is where he can step up. We saw him kind of playing with the idea of picking up that operator. This is one of the maps where we want to commit into that, especially on this defensive side. Lock yourself in. Try and get that scoped weapon on up, because their composition generally, if they lock in what I'd expect, information, a lot of that will have to come from the scope or from aggression in combination with Ferbsa, which was something that was good for them yesterday. On the other side, though, it's a really info-heavy comp. They're running the double initiator there with the Sky, as well as that Sova. Well, Sky and KO both very good, and I think KO I would almost edge out as being the better agent on this map. Sky's information game is excellent, especially starting on the attack. The way you can play that default, get your chamber forward, pop down those trademarks, re-clearing space is really easy because you have a dog, you have 2 flashes, there's a ton for you to work with. Yeah, and we mentioned it coming into this, right? Space is so important. You lack a little of that space garnering when you have that KO, but what you do get is you get to cut those abilities offline. Yeah. And I mean, you look at Chris, you look at Ali, both incredible players in their own right. Ali was doing some crazy stuff yesterday, managing to survive, managing to clutch, whatever it may be. But once the abilities for Chris, they get shut offline, that toxic screen, it just means that that site gets opened wide up across the hole. But here we go, we jump on into it to the pistol round here on Breeze. It's map number 1 of the best of 3 in the Valorant Grand Finals.
for the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup, and it's SJSU to get us started.
So excited to get into this one. SJSU, a team that I have been waiting to watch up on the mainstream throughout this event, and now they have the opportunity to play on that stage. Prove what you are worth, and with the start over towards the attacking side, we'll see what they bring to the picture. Mid control seems to be their early priority. Combine that Sova with your Jet. Assert yourself on the map, but same is true for the other side. This mid fight should soon come, but it looks like Elbow may instead be that destination. For now, this attacking side just trying to feel things on out, figure out where any aggression may be coming, but for now, stay stagnant. Rehit looking likely over towards the A site here. Viper wall already up, but they're taking their time, trying to feel out a repush, likely coming through mid, which we see happening now on that map.
And look at this, trying to sell it a flash out towards A. The wall goes up, but the spike's going across the map, and so is the Viper. Ali wants to link up with the team. He's hanging onto the toxic screen, so he might use it out towards this A site, but the play's not even here.
No, it's not a fake. If Teddy falls, though, that's a great way to get things going, but it doesn't happen. 2 kills picked up now, and, well, both sites lost. In fact, still, this fight could be a little bit isolated. Ali in a position where he can fight forward. Dip as well on the scene. He's completely healthy, but information soon revealing. Dark goes forward, so too does that Bird. Chris realizes where this Jet is playing, and now he can just work off the timer.
A couple of Sheriff shots, they just go wide. Nazi out towards mid. I mean, this round, although the spike was planted over towards B, this was Nazi and Teddy that really just cut open this defense.
Yeah, completely. And it was a full commitment there from the side of Northwood. They saw that initial hit. They saw the Viper wall go on up, and they fully rotated on over, conceding so much space on the B site. There was a brief moment where they had an opportunity before the rotates came back from the players committing in towards that fake. But there's that one man just holding back sight, knocks things on down. SJSU showing the discipline, showing the skill in this one, as it is just going to be the pistols out of Northwood University. One investment towards the Marshall for Ali, but damage really just the name of the game here.
And not finding too much in the way of kills, which means the economy looks the way that it does. Marshall's not uncommon to force up here on Breeze. We'll see if anything comes to fruition with that. A couple of missed shots thus far. And damage traded, but unfortunately nobody fallen just yet. The B site assumed basically for free. They're going to toss the spike on over to Chris, make sure he gets that Viper's Pit online nice and early. And the Bulldog here for Teddy has the only weapon to worry about up in heaven. So slowly but surely that fight will come to fruition. Meanwhile, Benji back on the chamber. He's got the Headhunter. But at this point, when you're taking this long, it's all about the containment.
Yeah, and they are doing well to contain for the moment. Completely surrounded are the attackers in this one, but the defense does not realize where it's coming from. Ali somehow manages to pick up 2 shots. Impressive with that Marshall to keep this economy nice and accountable, but Thig does clear out elsewhere, and Nasi should be on the scene to keep things nice and secure. 2 players dropping, though, so a good return on investment for that Marshall.
Yeah, exactly. Now we get to take a look, right? Where's the head of SJSU? Do they want to try and force back into this one, reinvest maybe, toss a weapon on over? Choi Boy obviously can just be rocking that Headhunter for the most part.
I'm wondering if they're going to try and predicate this round on that Viper's Pit that Ali has available. You could try and get that one up early, but actually maybe a little too far away to commit on in too much. Getting my wires crossed with that attacking side. With this slight investment, though, again, it is just going to continue to be damage. The goal of the attack now, if they can take some of those rifles away, get that spike plant on down, they're feeling good. However, maybe a weakness has been spotted. Hull's yet to really be poked. It is just this trademark watching for that space, so we'll send the Jet alone on that lurk. These A-site hits not normally requiring the tailwind to get in, so Teddy fast flanks, and now he has an opportunity to pinch that KO close on site.
And the KO, though, not in too much danger. Can look to fight the Jet up towards Halls. Now he's in a bit of danger as Nazi pushes on through, gonna find himself a nice little upgrade. Teddy eventually falls, and Benji, okay, able to trade it back as we get these bonus weapons into the next round for Chris. Nice dink up close and personal. And the Marshall shots, they don't land quite yet, but he's healthy here in the 1v2. Just needs a couple more shots to land. Inside the Cloudburst dip will go. Oh, but he's got the scoped weapon. He's able to find the kill vulnerable as he looks to walk away, and it's Ali to clutch it out. And it's Northwood finally on the board.
But that's far too close. SJSU completely crippling the economy there for Northwood. They're going to be forced to fully reinvest on in towards this round. And you have to give a lot of the credit to that Jet lurking the way over through Hallswell. I don't think any kills were actually found off that positioning. It was the pinch, isolating the KO out on the site, isolating the player over towards the double doors if it weren't for heroics here in the end. And Dip being able to just buy enough time for his teammate to save that round. that very much could have been the eco round swinging the other direction. However, as the LLS replay does close on out, we'll get our first look at a bit closer to Rifles versus Rifles. Of course, that defensive side, their money is scrappy. Losing out on this round means that money is in the dumpster.
Yeah, and I mean, this is just the Northwood way. We saw it all day yesterday where they would reinvest into these rounds that are full buys for the opposition. They would then lose those rounds, be forced to save another, and then finally, 3 rounds later, get back in the fight with the full buy. So we'll see. This is a big round for them to try and tie us up. The pit out towards B, that's going to deter a push that way for now, but mid control still going to be fought for. Nobody up into halls just yet, but a deeper trademark this time. It's not going to allow for too much of a creep on up as Dip gets some damage onto Chris. He'll survive for now and back away from the angle.
Wall goes up in towards mid, so that space, the primary cause of concern for this defensive side right now. Obviously, that Sova player just kind of playing the swing. However, as A does seem to be the destination, Seekers come on out. This one might just have to come down towards the retake. I believe that Viper, while still available, should come up in just a moment to block the line of sight. Still, that KO's in close. Pop Flash is available. He could try and fight through this one. Make a play. It's a possibility.
Yeah, once his team lines up here to get ready for it, Burbza will push through. It's a Bulldog, but unfortunately the shots don't quite land like he was hoping, but it's a Jets to find their way onto the kill feed, and Teddy gets aggressive. The Tailwind to escape, the spike to get planted, and the Viper's pit.
Do you even go for it at this point? Your money is in a really bad position. That kill should mean that they do actually commit in towards this round, but Nasi trying to change the tide. 2 versus 2, but that Viper's pit, the biggest issue. Teddy can just play spoiler, fight forward, protect the president. As long as Chris stays alive, this round is all but secure. However, Tyler, dart just around the corner, 3 seconds till that PC utility's up.
And somebody close to DK takes him down, but get that back up. Actually, it's Chris to get revealed. That means the pit will fall, and they're not ready for where the Jet is. He's on the opposite side, and it's not Ollie, it's Tyler instead. Right back to his winning ways, right back to the multi-kill for Tyler.
Yeah, absolutely perfect dart there. If that recon bolt does not connect and you don't get the tag on towards the Viper, I think that round all but goes the other direction. However, the supportive line continuing to prove their prowess, as it will be a critical round swinging that direction of Northwood. Now for SJSU, they've looked good in towards some of these early round situations, consistently being able to get out on that site. The post may be looking to be a bit of an issue, and I'm not super surprised by that one. Northwood yesterday, the retakes were their strength. They play double initiator practically every map. They love putting Ali and Dip in these positions where they can just follow up off that utility, and both those players, Ali especially in this match, have been doing really well at it.
Yeah, and I mean, you look back at that round, and the one player being alive there at the end, it could have gone a whole lot better for Northwood, but Furbsa was looking to make a play, and I think that's the right call. Try and catch him off guard as they're pushing onto the site. Had you played as all 5 strong in that retake, that looks completely different, but a win nonetheless. 2 players remain. As now we go back to the 5v5, and Teddy, he's got the blades online. The head is spotted, and the head, it's taken off. Benji falls. And well, between the Blades and the Headhunter, they're starting to live up to their name. As Teddy, a Headhunter of his own, the Hunter Shuri, to clear things out towards mid. Now 1 shot up towards bridge. Nothing quite there, but they're just getting ripped apart.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the 2 individuals. In this one, Bladestorm is still alive and well. Ali's been spotted. Only 1 knife to work with, but it's enough. Deals the damage. Nasi finishes things off with the Marshall, and that was the eco. That was a lesser buy coming in towards this round, but Halls again is proving to be a massive issue for Northwood. This is the 2nd time now where Choi Boy has just charged his way on up, aided in that round by Teddy. So much of that space is claimed, and there's no one really to reply. Once you've lost kind of that back yellow control based off the changes in towards the site, the retake becomes just nigh on impossible, because you're first of all retaking that space towards yellow, which is already extremely difficult to fight into. Then you have to work on the site itself. It's just a bridge too far in that one. Now the money does swing the other direction. Northwood worse for wear.
And another slow start. SJSU expecting some aggression.
Yeah, and they make a change here for Northwood. The aggression is coming. It's a push down halls. They want to make sure they could counter at any other play that would come back towards that A site. That was their expectation, but it's been subverted. B, instead the destination. Only 1 man is here to hold. And sure, the Viper is good as an anchor, but there's not even an orb down. I don't think there's even mollies available to help hold in this endeavor, but he sure does have a Marshall. 1 shot connecting. Ali, can he get any more out of this? No. Teddy on the shutdown. Another clean site hit out of SJSU.
Yeah, it's tough. If anybody could do it on the squad, it's Ali. It gets a little bit harder when he's only got a Marshall to work with and 5 players right in front of him. So now the next one up to the plate, it's going to be Benji, and he's got himself the Headhunter. Ooh, okay. Hunter Shuri actually going to come out and over the top. Nice tag, nice double kill, Tyler. He's so good. with these ultimates. He just refuses to miss. Teddy tries to claw his way back in as Chris now the last one standing. A weapon retrieve, but it's only a Spectre. And the Viper in a tough spot as Dip will slowly make his way onto the site, hunting and searching for a weapon. Well, he's got one. Now they're hunting and searching through the tall grass to try and find the Viper. It's Ferbza just to stick onto the spike and Dip to find the frag. It goes a little wide for Chris. And we're all tied up once more.
And we go Thrifty for Thrifty. We talked about what a game changer Tyler can be, and the util usage in that round is absolute perfection. What I'm wondering, was that combined with a snake bite, or was that just both connections? Because I think I might have seen, no, at that point, excuse me, the Viper was already dead. None of that, nothing fancy. It was just that Hunter's Fury connecting on towards the both of them. But either way, no matter how you get that one done, it's excellent to be able to change the tide with one of those ults. It is definitely tough to get value out of. Every time we've seen that man pop Hunter's Fury, he's getting kills with it.
And you know what? Not to take away from what Tyler did there, but those Marshall shots that weren't finding kills, they were finding damage from all leads.
It wasn't the snake bite, but it was the tags.
Exactly, the tags. That Hunter's Fury only needed to land one flush shot, and it did so on 2 players.
But here we go again. Another push over towards Halls. They made the change in 1 round to adapt a player in that direction. Now again, it's empty for Northwood. However, aggression does come elsewhere. Dip is walked up over towards B main, which means a heavier force can stay towards this A site. However, Tyler, is he going to be ready for this? Teddy is just anchoring on the angle. He's looking for a fight, and Tyler might just give it to him. Teddy's taking a risk in this one, and the timing does not work out. He was watching for the trademark, but thankfully Choi Boy was there. The second line of defense holds with the tour de force, and in mid, we go 1 for 1 as well. Map control, though, still pretty heavily in the favor of the attack. Ali does look to hold ground, and he'll do so over towards mid, but information is still heavily lacking in this one. But that's true for both sides. That player in B main has been there the entire time, and Dip should hear Choi Boy above him.
Yep, he should, and Choi Boy is going to drop.
Knife him.
Right out in front, not the knife. Dip will do it to him. Might get punished. No, he cleans up the round. And it's Northwood to take the lead.
Just got to do it to him sometimes.
Just
got to do it to him, and, well, it gets done. Nice lurk forward there in towards B main. So much attention was given over towards that Halls play that they did not think there could be someone that light in towards main, and the punishment for that misstep is very much shown in this one. Unfortunate that I don't know. I want to avert my eyes. Just sad to see it again.
We're not looking at the LLS replay for that one. Everybody look away. Nobody saw that. I'm sure there'll be clips on the internet somewhere. We'll find them somewhere. But now 1 round separates these 2 teams. It's been a back and forth affair, and Dip tries to dash to safety, but he's met by the Guardian of Thig. Unfortunately, Teddy and Nazi got a couple of touches on him. Able to get that health low and close out that kill. Dash to safety. Teddy can eat some damage as well, but a Marshall shot onto Tyler. Good chip damage.
But in all this, like 3 players are spotted out. There's information that one is over towards B main. They know one's top mid. Why wouldn't you just double back to A at this point? And that's exactly their call. Timing on the reclear of the drone towards Halls is good, but with that range nerf, it's not going to see the rotation towards A. Ferbza is alone in this one, and he's going to be hungry for information soon. Hearing that drone, though, he relents, and that's massive. Pops up the ult, just has to buy time.
A flash comes out. Nazi actually going to take down the KO, so the ult will still go through. Nazi does it again. A madman with the Marshall. A resurrection. I mean, it's just too far out of reach. So now Benji and Ali going to have to fight their way back into this one. A 2v5. Ferbza will eventually go down. Nazi's still alive, and Teddy going to bail him out. It's Benji to fall, and Ali, what do you got for me here, buddy? This is a very tall ask. He's flashed up. We'll find the first. Thig's there to close out the first kill and the last kill on the round, and once more, knotted up at 4. So the back and forth doesn't stop.
The mid-rounding has been really nice throughout this map from SJSU. They've realized some of these tendencies, especially on that kind of overcommitment to the fight if mid-presence is shown. It's been a couple rounds where we've seen that. If mid-presence is shown, there's a heavy commitment over towards the elbow from this defensive side, and here again, that was punished. They realized off the lurk over towards A that site's going to be weakened, and just pretty clean on the hit. It was make or break for Ferbza, and in this one, it was broken. Still, the bank is alive, not broken in that regard. And that operator that we talked a little bit about in the pre-show is available. Let's see what Dip can get done towards mid.
Tyler dropped down. Should have been heard there. Steno player maybe just around the corner. They're going to toss the guiding light right out on it. Ferbza also headed this way, so the reinforcements are already here on the B site. Dip wants to get aggressive out towards the door. Ferbza cues up the flash, will toss it out. Okay, but everybody gonna back away safely for now.
All safe and sound, at least for another moment here. Chamber holding down the lurk in towards mid. You see the operator. Dip. He's tempted to push deeper in towards this one.
Got your trail.
Hungry for information, but now that info goes the other way. Seeker's out in towards this B site. The anchor tucked in back alone, but Ali's still hitting. He's found one kill, still up, and now support is here. Ali might not even need it, though. 2 kills found, and not a trade in sight. Chris now gets one down, but Ali's still alive. A 3rd frag to be found, and now that Viper's Pit available. He doesn't even want to commit to it, though. Comfortable in his hold, comfortable in his positioning, and now he's hunting for the ace. The 4th now picked up. Ali needs but one more to close this out, and a duel versus Nasty is queued up. Ali on the swing, but the shutdown, and now this clutch is doable! 1 versus 1, and Nasty does it!
I mean, you're just at a loss for words. What can't this guy do? This
Nasty is nasty, man.
Nasty is nasty. That's just what it is. Fights their way through the site. Ali did everything he could, and unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. It could not topple the hill. That is Nazi as we get to look back at it in the LLS replay. Benji. Oh, Benji. I mean, sometimes you just get one tap. Sometimes you just let the 1v2 clutch go by the wayside. And sometimes it hurts because it's going to be these rounds. We see how close this game is. It's going to come down to the wire. But look at this, more aggression out towards Halls. Teddy first to step up, and Benji going to make him pay.
Yeah, great punishment. Again, Hall's control has been big for both of these teams still. Round not out of the question for SJSU. They want to hit this one over towards A, but super well timed on that KO knife. Everyone is suppressed. The redrone clears. This hit will have to be canceled because they're so worried about losing space elsewhere. 4 were revealed. Everyone is known to be here, and yeah, mid control is completely gone. They're going to have to commit a lot of resources to re-clear this one. Works for one. Dip does have that trade back, though.
And these are the adaptations that the desk talked about. We saw it maybe a little bit in the nerves of Northwood. They didn't want to bite off more than they can chew, but they feel more than comfortable doing that this time around as Tyler will close us out. 2 kills on it. Working his way up that kill feed. A 5th round to Northwood University, and we continue to go back and forth. Now, I wanted to touch on a point from Lawler. He said, I think this is going to be our closest series yet. And although we did get some close series yesterday, I want to caveat on that and say this one right here is going to be closer in way of what we're seeing. Right? Yeah. It's not just giving up rounds to eventually get to 13-10. It's every single round, everything is going to be fought for. So I think that sentiment saying this is going to be the closest series, you need to take a little bit deeper of a look to really see how close this one is.
But this one, the pace is looking to be faster. Bladestorm available. Halls may soon again be tested. You see the Jet heading in that direction, and the Viper stunned on up. Utility, though, to support. Keeps Ali in position, keeps Ali alive. And yet again, that mid-control, it has been lost. This proactivity from Northwood University has been so effective, and Ferbza even takes down that player towards Hall. So now, for this attacking side, what information do they have? Nothing. They lost their space in Halls. They're forced to concede A main. Sure, they still have that trademark over towards the deep part of the map, but that could have been smoked off. They could have been flanked. Anything could have happened at this point into the round.
Yeah, and we saw early. Actually, I'm going to hold that thought as Nazi might just go toe-to-toe here. Ferbza still holding the angle out towards Halls, and he's good for another. The knives, they don't quite land, but it's enough for Dip to back away. Thig is there to trade things out. The flash goes through, the trademark finds the slow, so he's stuck in the mud. As Dip forced to use that dash, he still has the Bladestorm. It only takes 1 to the head, and well, Ollie might be in a tough spot once that screen goes down, but for now, it's SJSU, looking to back away, but they're about to be corralled.
Look at the time, 30 seconds left. At this point, it feels like they have to commit over towards A, but Viper's Pit has been conceded. With the man advantage already held, they're fine to give up that space. Ali, though, could be in a bit of trouble. His only support comes in through Halls, and that rotation might be a little too late. If this just ends a contact play, and it looks like it will, this could get very risky. Ali, yet again, the onus is on him.
Viper's Pit coming out from Chris. He's just going to try and stop the plant.
10
with 10 seconds. He does so. Now in the scramble, the spike has been fumbled, and somebody has to jump on it and get it planted down. But they're denied once more, and it's Northwood to grab the lead again.
Northwood reclaim it, and their hold in towards that mid-round is excellent. Initially conceding a lot of space over towards Halls, but trademark trips, that activates the trap. They take down the player walking up in that direction, and SJSU never left themselves a second option.
And what are you thinking when you hear that Viper's Pit go down? Are you thinking he just conceded it and he's still playing on the A side, or did he rotate off of this one? Exactly.
It really does, because Vipers don't often just completely concede that pit. They don't often just drop it down. At that point, Ollie could have been anywhere, and well, his position, it became big. Now mid-control, it will be the emphasis in Ferb. So with the flash, does not get anything off of it.
But Tyler's there to answer right back. The open hand for Dip as he dashes away. It's Choi Boy to fall, and Northwood once more one player ahead. A 7-5 still on the table for them, and it's getting a bit more digestible here as Benji will take down the Jet of San Jose State. And on that, there might be too many targets just on the other side. No, Nazi, okay, gonna bail his teammate out just a bit. The shock dart, it goes a little bit wide, but a doable situation, a direct 2v2 here on the site. No, Dip with the op through the wall, and Benji is there, the cherry on top, and at the half, it's Northwood University up 2 rounds.
7-5, that is very respectable for a Breeze defense, and I think they showed the issues they were struggling with yesterday have been resolved in a big way. In that series versus TAMU, adaptation was the devil. They started strong, and then once their opponent showed something new, once their opponent changed up the pace, they just kind of got stone-faced. Yeah. They ran out of options. They didn't make a change in time and just barely sneaked by in winning that series. Here, however, they realized their mistakes early. They don't even take a pause, and they just go straight back in. They have new ideas. They kind of step up the aggression in mid. They hold on to their extremities way harder. They use their strengths to their advantage, and SJSU never found an answer, at least not in time to save that half.
And now 7-5, the lead obviously feels great for Northwood University, but you're a pistol round loss away from quite possibly looking at a tie game. You pick up the pistol, you pick up the anti-eco, and you're looking at a 7-7 game going into your bonus if you're SJSU. And look at that recon bolt, it's good, but they're just gonna take the fight no matter, trying to catch him off guard, and it's Ali to take a bit more damage than he would have liked, but the tailwind, it's already been bought out. That won't be ready for Teddy for the rest of the round.
The setup's interesting to me. It was really heavy control over towards Halton, and my initial thought was that contact towards A, it would be aggression down that space. However, they just opened up the door, and instead can just hold the line in mid. Big kill there for Thig, and no one even in position to attempt a trade frag. Minute now left on the clock. At SJSU, they want more. They want additional information. They want another opportunity. Teddy asserting himself heavily on this space over towards mid. The information game is great. At this point, they should realize that this is a very distinct possibility of the rehit over towards A. Choi gets one, teleports away, then you're in a prime position to retake this site.
Yeah, prime position, though. Look at Benji. He's lurked all the way up inside the halls. He's got to play that paranoia to get that door open. He goes a little too deep, and he's going to be met by the trademark. He goes a little too deep, and he's going to be met by Nazi. Now, this defense finally getting their piece of the pie as it's Tyler to get things opened up, and Nazi actually died back in the halls. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It's Benji fight for that space. It's Benji taking it, but Choi Boy fighting right back. The defense one player ahead, but the door is open for another kill for Benji. Chris gonna try and hold this angle, and the classic will be just enough. But Ferbza has been more than that. Now stuck in the 1v2 with the flash available. The snakebite across the top. The flash comes out, and he doesn't have his weapon. Thig, good in the 1v1, and good for the pistol for SJSU.
Great on the trade there. SJSU, that was the round they wanted. Swing that momentum back in their favor. We're practically at a tied game. Taking a look back at the LLS replay, though, Thig, I mean, what a way to get us started in that round. The setup as well, really potent. Your chamber gets out. Jet is there for the refrag. Maybe they overcommit a little bit in towards these fights, make it probably closer than it should have been. But you do got to give respect to Benji, picking up some very impactful kills here off that lurk over towards the halls.
Man, it stings to see. It just comes down to the timing. Obviously, Thig could have been anywhere on the map or on the A site. And Ferbza wanted to try and catch him off guard, go aggressive with that flash. And this is that round, right? The anti-eco here for the defense. No plant for the attacking side, so they can't really afford to invest too much. But it is Ali going back to that trusty Marshall. And it looks like Northwood going back to that trusty A site hit. But just a bit of utility tossed out so far. Now they can look to readjust here.
They're just trying to feel out if any aggression is coming. Thig, he'll take a peek, but doesn't really receive too much in return. Just damage dealt. over towards this attacking side. Where is the destination? Because thus far, I don't think they've realized the extent of the damage in mid. Both rounds now, SJSU has been very proactive in taking that space. Early flash forward, post up on the line, hold the ground. And this one even, Jet takes contact, Thig swings off it. He even has 2 flashes available for support. And the attack they're walking into it. Thig, though, has been spotted, so maybe they set up contended with the flashback in, but the connection not quite there. Tyler takes him down, and now Teddy has a lot to do.
Teddy does have a lot to do, and he still has just about half that bar left on the dash, so if he gets into trouble, he can get out to safety, but he just wants to stand and fight, and once more he'll be punished for it as Chris will fall. It's all up to Choi Boy. He's half HP, but look at the enemies. A few stray bullets will sit them down, but that's only if they're stacked up. You have to assume that they're going to be playing ratty here as this spike gets planted.
Greed already showing to be the deadliest of the sins here for SJSU. That round was theirs, and now it has slipped into very dire straits. Ali falling back, though, likely just trying to play the lineup's insurance policy in this one, but Choi Boy, he's looking to cash out on that one. The HP, though, still very much an issue, and the question is he thorough enough? Does he clear onto Ali? I think. Spotted on out. He knows it's higher pen on the go, so switches on over. Finds a shot. Ferbza now is aware, and so too is Benji, but Choi Boy doesn't know these positions. In his spot, it's been revealed. A thrifty round picked on up. That is a heartbreaker for SJSU to be losing that.
It is, and I was going to say that in the middle, right? You see the respect, you see the understanding. Northwood is having all the confidence in the world, being on that lesser buy, understanding that there is a world where they win that thrifty round. And look what it does to the economy. It immediately starts to bolster things, and it's almost a direct inverse of anti-eco, but that next bonus round, I'm doing the air quotes, you guys can't see, but that next bonus round, it's going to be 3 rifles and 2 Spectres if this one goes flawless.
Worst case scenario here for them, but Northwood, they're counting their lucky stars. They got an opportunity, and they did well to capitalize off of it. Now the weaponry swinging towards their favor, but this A-site hit still very much potent. Null Command is popped in this one. Dip already working his way on through. The Shorty does find one, but Ferbza, he can get res and Dip. What is that? Straight through the smoke. He knows those angles. He knows those lineups, and well, he knows how to find those frags. 3 recovered in this anti-eco. Just looking clean as could be.
Just looking clean as can be, and this is what we saw yesterday, right? Once they start to get it going as a squad, they start to piece it together. They've got all of the pieces for the puzzle, and they just create a masterpiece. And now Chris can really only hope to maybe get some damage here, force somebody to reinvest into some armor or something of the sort going into the next round. And I feel like I kind of anti-caster cursed it. I said if this one's flawless, it'll be 2 rifles or 3 rifles and 2 Spectres, and that's exactly what happens.
It's exactly what happens, and it's, well, pretty much exactly what they needed to keep things on going. I was wondering if they were going to attempt to invest into the operator, but they don't need to. Benji has the tour de force, and I would not hate to see that get popped up here on the attacking side. I think the attacking side at op, when you're playing it as your chamber, when you're playing it as your lurk, it's really effective. We've seen players do that more and more as chamber has become so prevalent in the meta. Not sure if he'll actually commit to it, and this one has a perfectly good weapon, is still available in the back pocket. A has been the success story of Northwood University. So they'll apply early pressure in that direction yet again. Tour de force does get popped, so you have that supportive element, but does this drone clear Teddy? Because Chris should be breaking this. Chris should be getting rid of it, and that job has been done. Now, how thorough is Northwood? Because if they commit to this site, Teddy could play spoiler.
A lot of respect, given though you saw they cleared that tall box inside the cave, understanding that somebody could have pushed through that toxic screen without them knowing.
Yeah, but this mid-control, again, it's been a big point for SJSU to push a player in there deep. There's plentiful utility for Northwood to re-clear that if they realize it's a threat, and thus far, no one's clearing. This just means the info game is going good. However, you see the pings coming out. They're suspicious that something could be up in that area of the map.
And the slow creep up out towards B. Choi Boy can take down the recon bolt. He won't quite be revealed. The trademark taken down, but now the site's here. You're hearing the stampede. He gets his one. Meanwhile, they're going to find one out from tunnel. Nazi here as well. They read it just in time to delay this Northwood University squad, and the spike gets down in a tough spot. Ferbza going to have to put himself just out of reach from a teammate to try and scoop that up. Finally, Benji is here to try and bail him out, but a 2v4, a tough spot. It's a tour de force. Stig First to contact, shot won't land instead. Thig scoops up another, the drone to reveal Benji, and he's got his teleport, he's got his rendezvous, and he's got the kills, but no time to take it. 3 still stand with rifles back in hand. It's SJSU back on the board.
And I suppose no harm, no foul. You in that pistol, go 2-2 regardless. It's fine, not the best of circumstances. Could certainly be a much better situation for them, but they're feeling comfortable. And their mid control, again, is proving to be one of their greatest assets. That operator play, previously it was just a tour de force, will be committed to, though, on this attacking side. So I'm wondering how they're going to implement Benji in towards his default. Previously, he was just holding the extremity control, waiting for a late push over towards that A site. But I wouldn't hate to see something more proactive. And, well, this rendezvous, it's looking pretty proactive. They've realized that mid is an issue, so they're going to set up an op to hold for any plays in this area.
2 players out towards mid, the op there. But nothing given. Poison Cloud out towards the halls. It'll allow for that Ollie lurk. Nazi getting the most with what he can out of that drone now that the time has been chipped away just a bit. We go drone in response. And Big is in an aggressive spot. I think he's going to get revealed, and then he's in a scary spot. Nice shot from Benji. No tag on the sky means Dig walks away. No wall banks to be had, but he's still standing for the fight, and it's Ferbsa to win it out.
And the setup is completely down now. Lacking information in towards mid, and certainly lacking space for SJSU. Take a look at where this lurk has come through, though. In the halls, that Viper has worked deep. And if this A hit does come to fruition, as it looks it will, a flank in through the double doors or deep towards spawn could be massive. Ali, though, with the man advantage by 2 already garnered, doesn't want to take that risk. Instead, pops down that orb, keeps the pressure applied, leaves himself to be in a position for the late round if he becomes necessary, and just lets his team take space on this A site.
And this is still around with rifles available. Oh no, Teddy spraying through the smoke. That's the spike down as well. Tyler gets caught on the cross. Choi Boy with the tour de force, still healthy, and he's still fragging out. 2 kills on the round. Now things are equalized, but Ali's position could be everything, but the clock is there as well, so we've got something going for both of these squads, as Choi Boy's not even looking at him. Chris falls, Choi Boy follows, and Ali gets it done.
No one's looking behind him. No one is wary of that flank. Ali just dropping on down. I'm not sure if he dropped vents or took the long way. Either way, he wasn't noted, he wasn't heard, he was patient, and he was rewarded still. Impressive attempt here, Choi Boy, finding so much value, picking up 2 with that tour de force and making that round look so close to winnable. Fortunately for SJSU, though, doesn't pan out. If I want SJSU, this is the point where I would have probably taken a pause. This momentum is really starting to slip away from them. This is getting dangerous. They seem to have a plan, though, because they're going straight back into it. But losing this round, that's a big swing. Your money's in the dumpster, and you're likely facing Map Point at that point.
Yeah, and I mean, you're investing the knives here in this one. Like you said, there is so much. The implications of this round could be quite possibly the rest of the map. And this is an SJSU coming off of a 13-6 victory over Houston and beating Houston on Fracture, which has been their key map. As we jump on into round 18, things getting started with Dip in the operator.
Was just holding, ready for that angle. Over towards the stairs, takes down a player early. And you saw that the response was really heavy. All 4 players rotating on over. But now this reclear from Teddy has shown that it is not a commitment. He should have a freebie and gets away with that one. Not getting greedy, not trying to be disciplined, just wants his kill, gets away. We return to a 4 versus 4. And now there's a worry on this attacking side as well because, hey, that trademark could have been smoked off. A flank could be coming. They elect, though, to not worry about it and instead just send over towards his B site. It's the right call. Only 1 player to hold, and Choi Boy, I don't think will even commit to fighting this one. The risk too big.
I mean, he's still here, and he is not in a safe position. That wall can be penetrated. Spike will go down. It's Benji to collect. Ali tucked inside the cubby, and Dip still holding the angles of the operator. As soon as Choi Boy shows himself, it's Teddy ripped out of the sky. He had the blades, and Dip, he's double dipping. He's triple dipping. What more can he get?
What?
It seems he might have to do the rest, as now he's the last one standing for the squad. 3 kills on the round. The next shot misses. The blades around. The quadruple dip around the corner, but Thig holds on. And SJSU put another in the win column.
And it's Thig again, man. In these swing rounds, he is holding the fort for SJSU. That was the pivotal one. They hold on to it. Yep. They win it out in towards that retake and put themselves in a prime position here. Still not able to break the economy of their opposition. The money will be able to come back on in, but That's the first step towards victory, and they've been able to recover that operator over for Choi Boy. He was looking good with it a little earlier on, or at least with the tour de force, I should say. Now with the proper rifle in his hands, he'll have the responsibility of just holding a little more aggressive this time over towards B. And if this play comes through, that aggression in B main, the early info could be big because his default, it starts as a 4-1 or a 5-0 over towards A main. And with that pit coming on down and space over towards B, the info here is just absolutely abound for SJSU. Northwood is going to have to fully commit a ton of time here and a ton of resources for the reclear, because right now they know practically nothing, and their opponents are oh so aware of the possibility over towards A or the possibility over towards Hall.
Oh man, the delay, it almost works against Teddy and Dip. If you're meant to die, you're meant to die. The ball doesn't lie. Chris trying to hold it down inside. The pit will eventually fall, so the pit will follow, but it's Nazi here to pick up the pieces as it started to crumble for SJSU. Now Benji left in that same position in a 1v3, but the spike, it's compromised in such a tough spot to retrieve.
And he's late to this one. Was trying to cut rotations in through mid. Now he has to do this the hard way. 40 seconds left on that clock. But the timing on the dart works for him, so not to be revealed just yet. Does someone phase check him? Does someone swing, or does Choi Boy just hold? The latter comes true as Choi Boy connects onto that kill, and now 2 rounds in a row picked up for SJSU.
And that, again, another important one. Although they won the round previous, you saw a couple of members sitting on the light shields. You're really having to struggle with, are we buying full util? Are we investing in lesser weaponry in way of maybe the Guardian or the Spectre? Now SJSU don't have to worry about it. And fortunately, we do get one of these timeouts, because this is something yesterday we were asking for it, today we're asking for it. And as this series progresses, hopefully these teams aren't afraid to toss those out, because typically you get one per side.
Yeah. And now the question is, Northwood, what is the answer to come out of them? I think it's just being more proactive in their default and being a little bit more spread out. Like I said, so many of these rounds just start 5 over towards A, and while they tend to kind of re-aggress, re-clear that space in mid, in towards the later rounds, in the early rounds, they have been lacking heavily in the space, and that has been punished. We've seen round after round where there's an early push coming on through. There's a lurker for SJSU just holding on to that space, especially when they're playing the operator in for Choi Boy. He just posts on up, and he can just chill there the whole round, taking such a little risk. Post on the line, you get one, you get a kill, you get information, and you stay alive. I mean, what's not to love there for SJSU? That needs to turn around for Northwood.
Yeah, and I think a timeout like this is so important, because that round previous started with Dip pushing forward, finding a kill, and then the kind of the whole thing coming unraveled, right? And so, like, trying to stay, if you get outside the pocket, you need to be able to scramble. That's just how it has to be. And that's just Valorant as a whole. And the nerves are going to be the biggest thing that keep you from being able to scramble efficiency. You need to be able to thrive in the chaos. And hopefully that wasn't up. Just to take a deep breath, slow things down for the squad, and things look a little different as they're working the opposite side of the map.
Much better look in this one. Holding space, however, again, we see that lurk coming through in mid. Space being grabbed up here. That Jet just holding a deep line, and the dog to re-clear over towards the elbow. In the late round, you can even get a flank coming through the mid. You can get a pinch over towards the elbow. And Chris, well, you might not even need that other side. Just the hammer. No anvil to support, but he has done enough. A second picked up as well, and Ferbs now alone. His teammate will soon join, but it's just that Sheriff wide out in the open. The Headhunter, though, that gets something a little bit more done. A double kill picked up for Benji, and this feels oddly winnable. If he kills Teddy, that's massive, but the game's run out. Not gonna connect. Another one of the Headhunter shots, and 10-10 we tie.
10-10, double digits for both squads here in map 1. And although it hasn't been a direct back and forth, one round for one round, you see a similar pattern in the way that the rounds are strung together. So if the script stays true, script writers, I'm looking at you. We know that Valorant is scripted, of course. This should be a round to Northwood University, and they've got the tools to do it. Benji gonna be rocking that tour de force. You're asking a lot out of your chamber, though, here on the attacking side with the operator. The rifle maybe feeling a bit better, but we'll see. He's gonna be staring down an operator of his own. It's Choi Boy just on the outside, and it's looking quick. This is the NU way. The death balls, we go Hunter, Shuri's back and forth. How much is gonna be found? Bosova's found, but it's Nazi, the one to fall, as Tyler doesn't find too much on the next. Verbza immediately to fall as the snake bites delay for now, but the pit will still stand. Ali needs to get back on the inside, and he needs to escape for now. His health is just so low. Tyler also worse for wear as the Jets gonna find their way into the kill feed. Dip now trying to get out of dodge, but still incredibly healthy. The run and gun from Thig, he just counter-strafed at the perfect time. And in all of the chaos, again, it's SJSU out on top.
Yeah, and again, what are you left with in towards this mid-round? Nothing is safe for them. The flank could have come on through. There could be someone holding the line in mid. That operator could still be posted on a new angle. Their solution, it's tunnel. They'll walk their way up slow in this endeavor, but on the opposite side, SJSU, they've made the realization. They're re-rotating. They're re-clearing this space, but the commitment stays heavy over towards A, but that trademark, it's still active. And they have nothing to be able to counter it on out. So they should soon be revealed. And SJSU, they'll realize, they'll rotate. Can they cancel this out, though?
20 seconds, looking to backstab here. Benji gonna get that door open, so they play across the A site. And okay, Benji looking to make this one doable. Still gonna have that tour de force in hand. As Thig working his way up towards mid. The spike is planted and just over the top of the pipes. He's not spotted just yet, but neither is Thig. He thinks he's here on the site, and Benji about to get backstabbed. It's a round to the side of the head, and the script, it's been ripped up, it's been tossed out. It's 4 rounds in a row for SJSU.
Thig knows where that spike came on down. He knows where his opponent expects him to be, either spawn or flanking in through main. So he just contacts out, takes the risk, takes it slow, and the reward is oh so sweet. The lead regained now for San Jose. And if you're Northwood, you are starting to feel that pressure. It was a map that was looking really solid for them, and switching on over towards this attacking side, they went around that they shouldn't. Their momentum starts to build, but now it's been ripped away from them. The re-aggression in these late rounds has been excellent from the defense. The way that they're holding on to this map control has been stalwart. And the answer, well, it might just have to come in this round, because it is a full investment into this. If it's lost out for Northwood, their bye will be just in shambles facing up against Map Point.
An absolute shambles. This is such a weird round economically, because you're in a position where it just feels wrong to save. It just, 3,600 credits, 4,000 credits, whatever it may be. You just feel that you have to buy up something because you can. And I like this in this round, although they don't have the best buy, they're working their way back on in when they have this one round of wiggle room. Now going forward, it obviously doesn't feel great sitting on 12, so doing it 10 to 11, and that's a great start. Verbza looking scary with the Guardian in hand. Dip revealed by the Trailblazer, and he's not going to give that position. He's just going to plant his feet and now look to fight forward with Benji.
What's the follow-up, though? Look over towards A main. This Jet is just looking to take a walk, hold down that space, ensure that nothing is happening in that area of the map. And with information coming towards B, will this call for a rotation? Will this site be bolstered, or will they rotate off? The chamber teleporting away. Thig is alone. He's down as well, but that isn't known. They don't realize just yet that this B site is open, so won't look to go quickly still. With time to play with a 5 versus 3, patience, that's just the key. Verbza denies the play of Teddy, and now this round, it should just be that of Northwood, but still 2 players alive. You can't count these guys out.
It's usually been Nazi to claw SJSU back into these rounds, but now it'll have to be Chris and Choi Boy. I mean, running out of time, just about 10 seconds left on the clock. Nobody really in position to deny, but now they do know that the spike plant is here. It's Cloudburst out, Snake Bite to follow, so vulnerability at the feet. Is the up, closes out one. I thought we had a collateral there for a second, but no, it's Dip. Gonna find his way into the kill feed, and we're tied up once more. Finally, the streak has been broken.
They're patient. They play the default a lot wider. They deny the push through mid. All of these issues that were building up against Northwood University are solved in that round. And it was the big one for them. Their money now is actually starting to find itself in a pretty comfortable space. Flawless round is absolute perfection there, because now not only do you have a cushion of money in your bank account, but you have plenty of weapons to work with in this round. However, that's still true of both these sides. Bar the Spectre for Chris. They're feeling good on SJSU, and they have a Viper's pit to work with. We've seen this round after round. Chris pops it on up, provides support over towards this A site, and generally it's been these late hits over towards B off of this play. However, in this one, mid B, that's not the emphasis. Halls instead is for both of these sides, but Teddy, the better.
And Nazi ready for a play this way with the Poison Cloud up. He sends out a shock dart. It finds great damage onto Ali. and it's Teddy to close out. A couple of body shots is all it took, and with that, now going back to the drawing board, it's Northwood University, and they haven't quite decided where they want to go. What I do love, okay, Tyler, getting us back into things. Now we're equalized across the board, but I love that the attacking sided op, it's tough to get value. It's tough to do it yourself, and it's hard to be that tip of the spear.
Sure.
But every time that Benji has been the tip of the spear, somebody's been right there with him, and this time it's been Dip the entire time. So there's always going to be a chance for that trade to, one, make sure that you get that trade kill, and two, make sure that that op is not getting scooped up for free. So now we see everybody here bolstering up the attack out towards B. It's a dash in. It's Dip just playing around the smokes, and it's Ferbsa once more. This time, not a Guardian, but a Phantom as Nazi and Teddy hopped away to the kill feed. Dip in the corner, but Teddy takes him down. Now Ferbsa needs to battle his way out. He's got a fragment and an ultimate to play with. This right here is the push to map point on Breeze. The last round of regulation, it's Ferbsa for 3. Teddy just around the corner, but he'll match 3 for 4, and it's SJSU to map point.
Teddy again keeping things alive in these critical rounds, and SJSU, they swing things straight back into the favor. And sure, there was a good round. There was a moment there. They find that flawless, but now the money is still in a bit of a tight spot. Their ult economy as well, maybe a little bit worse for wear, and it has to just be a rally towards overtime for Northwood University. All the credit I was giving them, they were fixing their issues over towards mid. They were fixing their kind of denial of these late round pushes that we've seen consistently from SJSU. All that falls apart. They fall back in towards their same tendencies. Again, they're punished by a play in through mid. Again, they're punished on these kind of late round hits over towards B. Something has to change, and there's only one more opportunity to switch it up. Overtime or map number 2, those are the options. And the onus so heavily on Northwood as the ult is popped, they just want to split A. Something new, something fast, but look where Teddy is. Close corner yet again. He's been here before. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, and I don't know if this position's ever been revealed. He gets so much out of it. Will finally be traded out for the resurrection. It's in such a terrible spot. Ferbsa just forced on his hands and knees to watch his team fall around him, and it's SJSU, the last round of regulation, a player ahead, but the spike not yet committed. They're back out towards mid.
They want to run this back over towards B, but Seekers are popped. They're well timed. It reveals that these players are still hunkered down over towards mid, so SJSU, they can stay together. They can stay safe. They do not have to re-aggress in the slightest. Mid doors now is the decision. Benji will just contact on off. Hit or miss, make or break. His operator shot could do it right here, but the timing eludes him. Chris has backed away and found safety towards back yellow, but Benji's ready for it. However, he misses out on the shot, and now damage down to 10 HP. And support soon to come this way for SJSU.
And he opts out of the operator into a rifle on 11 health. Ollie on 72. 83 collectively to try and hang on here in Breeze and get us to overtime as the poison cloud goes out. Chris, it's Benji to get the better half. But now Nazi and Thig. Breeze is their oyster, a trailblazer forward. There's just no time. Stunned up and quite possibly taken down. Ali's got to stick at the shock darts on top. The head won't show, and now he gets to play the post plant. But both of SJSU's players together here in this retake. It's Thig to close it out, and it was a close one, but it still goes the way of SJSU.
And SJSU, when we get deep, when we get close in these games, the experience is king. They adapt faster, they adapt better, and their defensive side looks oh so strong. The re-aggression, especially over towards mid, the control that they found on this side of the map, Choi Boy especially, the impact that he was claiming off of the chamber. I think of the play that Nazi was pulling off there, and then just the consistent fragging that we were getting out of their jet. Everything was really working well for SJSU, and it's clear that Northwood was very much tested. Now, a map down in the series, and also it should be noted that, of course, that was the pick of SJSU, maybe a bit friendlier territory for map 2. Still, Northwood, they're a team that loves their momentum, and that's been ripped away from them.
That's been absolutely ripped away from them, and not to say that Breeze and Haven are the same map, but now we've got these rifles online. Right now we've got our aimers going, so these longer angles, they don't really change too much once we move over to Haven. The fight's down A-long, the fight's down C-long. Map 2 is still a very scary prospect, but I absolutely loved what we saw in the adaptation from both of these teams. Unfortunately, just like you said, SJSU was just a bit more experienced, and I think the experience really showed in the ability to play inside the chaos, right? The ability to play inside that pocket, or to make Northwood University scramble, and it was Nazi, it was Teddy, everybody really doing their part in those situations to create that havoc and take advantage of it.
Yeah, they absolutely did. Taking a look here again for SJSU, a player that I want to give a lot of credit to is Nasi, because I think he's not always the guy that we talk about when we're thinking about SJSU, but he was incredibly clutch in so many big rounds this Sova as well, providing consistency in way of the information, setting up his teammates into these really successful positions, and also just providing the frags when it became necessary.
Man. 7-5 at the half, ends 13-11 in favor of SJSU for map number 1 as we look to send things back up to the desk to break down Breeze.
Thanks so much. What a fun first round.
Sure.
San Jose coming out on top. That doesn't bode well for all of your predictions.
No, it doesn't.
It goes great for mine. What do you mean?
Yeah?
He's always
I always
back.
told you it's the
True.
opposite. I had to bail everybody else. I'm doing it for them, you know?
Oh, all right.
Bring down the ship with me.
The casters were saying, you know, the more experience of San Jose is really showing here. Can you guys talk to what it might feel like to be a team that has been here together for 2 years versus a newer team like Northwood?
All you, man. All you.
You have, when it comes to situations like that, like it goes back to what we were saying earlier, right? About how you have the aspect of friends before teammates, right? And so with you being around for 2 years, 2 years compared to like maybe like a couple weeks or maybe like even like a month or two, you have the situation of having a well-oiled team, while as on the opposition, you have the potential of being good individual players, but not as great of a team, right? So that's something that you have to keep in mind when you're looking at a lot of those matches. You have the 2-year veterans, as you've said, as we've all said, and as we've all seen today. And compare that to Northwood, I was really impressed, and their experience showed, just as Mimi was saying, just as they were saying, right? Like I think it's so important to see how well they were able to adapt, because the gap never got above 2. And I think that's super important.
Yeah, there is something to be said for being able to predict with experience what your friends and teammates are going to do. You've faced so many circumstances together that maybe Northwood hasn't. Do you feel like you saw that inexperience in Northwood, or is it just that San Jose has way more?
I think the inexperience from Northwood that came into play was because San Jose did their homework. They noticed that, okay, we've been a team together for 2 years, and Northwood, yeah, they're the new kids on the block, and they've been hot for the past 1.5 semesters, so they're really, really good, but we play better as a team, and that really showed on the map, Breeze, as well, because you have those long sight lines, and you could tell at the beginning of each round, if San Jose had the advantage or got that first pick, it's because they're playing different angles, those long sight lines. They're cross-firing each other, and they were playing a little bit solo but together at the same time, whereas if those picks were coming from the side of the other side, Northwood, it's because they had to walk together. You saw them always teamed up, paired up. If one of them went down, they would either have multiple people go down, or they would get a pick or two to trade out, because there's always someone there kind of just, you know, holding hands throughout those twists and turns of the Breeze map. And it's great that Tanner mentioned that, you know, Haven, which is going to be the map pick for Northwood in map 2, is going to be similar long sightlines, but if you really want to talk about it, Haven is more a map that we see in the pro scene. And the team that I think resembles more pro-style play is San Jose, because they have people like Thig, who is signed to Metro Esports, and they have Choi Boy and Teddy and Nazi, who is, as Tanner said, nasty or nasty. You know, I know you want the good food adjectives, but nasty Nazi is a little too easy.
It's too good, you're right. Yeah.
But, you know, they play the pro style a little bit better. Haven's more of a pro style map. So I think they're going to have the slight advantage there too, but I think it's going to be neck and neck once again, because Northwood has the mechanics. They're the new kids on the block. They know how to play. And if Dip is opening team fights with that jet like that, oh, come on. It's going to be as tight as it was in game 1.
You think so too?
You can definitely tell the experience coming out from San Jose. It's, while the mechanics, like you guys are saying, like the pop-off potential, the ability to 1v3 clutch, all that kind of stuff is definitely in favor of Northwood at times. You can see like the staggered peaks and everything else from San Jose. There's multiple times where it's like knowing to peak wide instead of short. Like little things like that just come with experience, knowing that on land there's less ping. So yes, that split-second decision, go a little bit wider, win that trade. But there was also multiple times where it's like, okay, you get the information, you guys should be rushing that. Go for that trade immediately. You have everything you need, and all of a sudden, we put in like 30, 40 damage on this guy, but we're not willing to pick up the kill, and it completely comes back to bite Northwood. So it's those little small nuances that the experience comes in, and then being on that same wavelength as well for San Jose that I think really helps. The fact that they can have faith that, okay, I know you're going to be patient, Joy, you're going to hold that angle until you can't hold it anymore, like, and all you need is one pixel to pick somebody up. So yeah, that experience from San Jose is showing, but despite that, still 13-11. It's a very close series.
Yeah, the casters also mentioned that they feel like this may take away Northwood's momentum, a loss to start out. However, we have, as we've discussed, seen teams that it's like, oh, wait, we lost the game, hold on, we're going to come back even more powerful. What do you think that looks like for Northwood? Do you think they can pull that off, or do you think that this may be a momentum stopper?
The first thing that came in my mind was the aspect of when I had saw them and be such a momentum-heavy team, and that was actually on Haven yesterday. That was some of the more in-your-face sort of style play it is that I have seen them do before. And once again, today, there's lots of situations that I've actually seen them clean up. I had mentioned it before about the aspect of like the 3-9 curse, right? The fabled 3-9 curse. But today, it seems different, right? They've cleaned up a lot of the same mistakes it is that I was seeing. Of course, there's like mishaps here and there, right? But as is the case when you're, trying to learn and get the ebbs and flows of a team, it is that like you haven't played as much. So with that being the case, I absolutely will say that I think we'll see a more powerful fight from Northwood this match.
All right, well, let's see if we do. Let's get right into this next match, casters.
Thanks so much to Anna and the folks over on the desk. Haven, map number 2. Tanner, Metro.
Yep.
This one, there's a lot of similarities to Haven. Really heavy on that extremity control, holding down the fort over towards A-long, C-long. You can see the similarities, the prevalence of the AWP, the long angles. It's a similar map. Will this be a different story?
Well, Mimi, Evil Cat Wormkrantz, yesterday I think what we saw for Northwood, although a solid map in Haven, this is where they want to be. I wonder how conditioned they got. When we saw them on Haven previously, every single time out towards A-long, there was zero contention. And Tyler was just able to get orb after orb after orb, Hunter Shuri after Hunter Shuri. And we've seen, even in that map on Breeze, how deadly he can be with that one. We also saw on that map in Breeze at SJSU, they're going to make you earn every single inch of the map on the attacking side and the defending side. So coming off of that loss, a close one, that's one where you can kind of take a look back. It feels a little worse. A 13-2, maybe you can say, hey, we shake that off, that's their map pick. But it does look like we are getting our agent select underway, and nothing too crazy. There's no way we get the Neon this time, right?
I'm really hopeful. I would love to see the Neon come on through. I mean, I'm practically like, I'm halfway there to just being a Neon cosplayer at this point for what I'm wearing this event. But I think that you get so much value out of that agent, especially when you're combining it with the KO. You have that double initiator composition. We talked about how they were struggling with clearing that space, and that on their defensive side, one of the strengths was when they were getting very proactive, fighting for those flanks, fighting for the space in mid. Neon is just free real estate, man. Hold W, flash, follow it up. It's really effective, and I think it befits the playstyle that this team runs. I'm really hoping we do not get to see a Reyna. I think Reyna is just not good.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no way to get that space. Alir is not going to be enough. It is going to be that Jet locked in for Dip. So he was playing with our hearts a little bit. A reminder, the last time we saw Northwood on the main stage on Haven, Tyler dropped 30 kills. I also want to give love over to Nazi as well, though, because even through the nerfs, the shock dart nerfs, the drone nerfs, those were the two players who are really whipping it on for the squads. Now we get out to Haven, and that role is so much more prevalent.
Yeah, it is really prevalent indeed, and I think that taking a look at that head-to-head is a really good shot. I'm also watching Ali on this map. The way that he plays the Omen here, he gets a ton of value. He'll juggle around those smokes. He'll find himself some fun angles and get a lot of use out of that utility. But here we go, map number 2, and it might just be the end of things. An opportunity for SJSU to reclaim the collegiate crown here in North America, or an opportunity for Northwood to prove that they've got it, to prove that they can push us to a third map.
That third map would be Ascent should we need it. The aggressive ball of fury that is Northwood University, starting on the attacking side, which is right where they feel comfortable. And Ali, could we give him the title of most survivingest Omen? I feel like this guy just manages to stay alive in situations that he shouldn't, and this is one of them. He doesn't give up his position out towards Teddy, and Teddy's punished for it. Ferbza taking a fight out towards B as well. We know Northwood likes to flex this way. We know that they like to show that B site will be a threat, and SJSU are ready for it. but they're punished for it thus far. Stig looks to drop down low HP, and it's Northwood. They're backing away, looking to play that man advantage across the map.
Yeah, the goal of that play over towards Garage was just get rid of the trademark. They're spamming the default position, but nothing, of course, was in that area. Instead, trademark's positioned over towards A, over towards C. So it's a heavier fort in Garage and mid, and that bird is really well timed. Information given, no one is holding down the fort in towards mid, so now they might just get suspicious. Is something going on over towards this A site? It seems likely at this point. Rendezvous used, 2 players on their way, but is it in time? Nazi's alone for just a moment here, and the hit is forthcoming.
And Recon Bolt, just before the 0 point can shut off the abilities, it starts to reveal 3 players of 5. All spotted out by that, so the wall hacks are there, but are they going to be enough? As things are equalized for just a second, it's Ali, the most survivingest player, still surviving here, and the pistol will eventually fall, and the numbers get cut down to 1 for Northwood. It's Benji, it's the headhunter, but it's Nazi to keep it going.
Nazi will not let these rounds slip away. Hold strong and keeps that 1 versus 2 out of the hands of SJSU. Still, it was a really strong round from them. Initial presence showed over towards mid. They get a pick off of it, where you rotate, take down the trademarks. They're trying to kind of check off these boxes that I felt they were lacking in a big way. I was very doubtful of their Haven, especially when I saw them pick in towards this one. Wasn't a big fan of what they were showing me yesterday, but it's clear that they have taken some time. They have realized some of their mistakes, and they're trying to fix it coming in towards this game.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how SJSU continue to play around what could be a lot of B pressure from this Northwood squad. Recon Bolt will reveal Chris. Shots tossed out, but really nothing to be had here. Look at out towards A long, though. The aggression.
Talented 1 HP goes Ferbs up. Teddy will just dash away in that one. And, well, we'll see if he gets overwhelmed. But at the moment, he should be doing all right. Has the Bulldog and has the range to play with Dip. Will challenge him as well. And the Classic deals good damage. But the spike's on the floor. And now the pistols are biting hard. 2 players taken down. Is this another eco round looking to swing the odd direction? Thig, no util to work with. The bird will be on the charge up in just a moment here. But his opponents now have weapons. And the spike coming down, they just want to go quick for the retake.
Yep, that they do. Paranoia on in, but Benji, he doesn't get tagged up. Eventually he'll fall, but Ali stays alive. And Northwood, they reach into the hat and they pull out a thrifty round.
What the grief, man.
What the grief.
SJSU, these rounds cannot be lost in pivotal moments like this. It's an anti-eco. That round should have been yours, but they bite off a little bit more than they can do again. They leave a player alone in towards the site. They don't give time for their jet to rotate on away. They're putting themselves in these really forward positions, and they're giving guns away. They need to give a little bit more respect, have a little bit more discipline in some of these rounds, or those issues will keep cropping on up. Credit where credit's due, though. Northwood hit some good shots. They played together. They just deathballed it. But it's not crazy stuff. It's not a style that I imagine SJSU has never played against before. They should be ready, and that's a big mistake on them.
The buy a bit lessened here for SJSU. As you see, the Classics and a shorty just on the inside. Teddy going aggressive with the Marshall. Already has that tailwind on. Tyler ready on the angle, though. Just about half HP as they meet each other. It's Tyler. 3-round burst will sit Teddy down, and slowly but surely these players just become ult orbs for the side of Northwood as the last one standing. Just the lowly chamber. Choi Boy slowly making his way across. Now, Choi Boy could find a kill here and die on the way out, which is what he's looking to do. He'll have that tour de force online. He's 2 pips away, which is not too far out of reach. Spike will be heard planted out towards the C site. And oh baby, it's Old Faithful here in the Marshall in a 1v4 in a pretty undoable situation. But again, the kills that matter, there it is, 1 kill picked up. Now the death means a tour de force, but more kills means, well, the round. And instead it's Dip to close it out. It's the round. The way of Northwood University, and what is going on? The way that these rounds are being played out is weird. From Breeze to Haven, it's getting awkward.
It's funky. These teams are close, man. These teams are close. It can swing either direction, no matter what we're looking at in way of those guns. But talk about the weaponry, it's looking good now. A full armament purchased on in for SJSU, and that operator is what I'm looking towards for Choi Boy. Looks like he wants to get aggressive, take a peek over towards short. If he can just establish himself early on that line, I imagine they throw out a dart to get him in position there. Then he's in a position where you can just rendezvous away, back on up if you're tested, and it doesn't look like he'll be tested off the rip, so that Sova leaves. They're comfortable to stack over towards C, and we'll see that's exactly where this attack is heading. Teddy, he's a little too far forward, but he still gets his value. 2-for-1 trade, that's favorable, and this hit has been canceled.
Yeah, a 2-for-1 trade and the Hunter's Fury used. Finally, we get one with 0 value out from Tyler. Uncharacteristic, but just trying to answer back and equalize as Benji's position. And the tour de force now revealed out towards mid.
And look at the setup on the trademarks again. You asked the question earlier. B pressure is a big point for Northwood. What's the reply? Nothing. They don't have to do anything. They can just leave the trademark there, lock down the space. They'll know if anyone's coming towards that site. But now, with the shock dart breaking that trademark, someone is going to have to come and check this out. Someone is going to have to get cautious. But for now, the policy isn't attack, but containment. The operator locks things down over towards A-Link. Garage is contained by the Sky. C-Link is contained by the Sova. There's no way that you can get out of B. Sure, you can have that site, but you're not getting anything more. And that's because SJSU is so comfortable playing the retake in towards B.
Yeah, they're not looking to just run their way through these chokes inside the links. They're going to corral you here on this site and make you try and push forward.
And look at that drone. It's pushing them in towards the op. They're trying to be herded in towards that position. Thus far, they haven't taken the fight, but that means they're just trapped on the site and have really lacking space for this post plant. Benji is make or break here.
Benji is make or break with the tour de force, and unfortunately doesn't land through the 5-hole and over the shoulder, but on the site, Ali trying to hang on. Tyler, unfortunately, follows in his footsteps and going down over to SJSU.
That round reads to me like it's SJSU ready for the tendencies of Northwood, realizing that in the mid-round that B-side is a really likely hit, and just playing containment in such a big way. They have their man advantage. They're fine to give space over towards B. They just lock down the links and can pinch for that post plant in the late round. Like we were talking about, Benji had to get it done. He missed out on 2 critical shots, and that meant there was no space to work with. There was no space given on over towards that attack, and, well, the hold on the site crumbled. Still, money is available. The spike plant in the 2 rounds in a row. 1 allows that, and Ali has the ult too. We hype this man up. Let's see if he does anything funky with it. We've seen him teleport into, like, spawn and do some crazy stuff on the Omen.
Yeah, we've seen him stick some pretty questionable ults, but it ends up working out. The enemy maybe thinking that it's just to cause some paranoia without using it.
It's questionable to us, but it's also questionable to the enemies. Like, what the heck is this guy doing? Why is he in our spawn? No way he sticks that.
Yeah, absolutely no way. He jumps backside boathouse on a scent while 3 of us are here. That's not possible, but again, Ali, the most survivingest player. Dip, unfortunately, you can't say the same. Teddy, looking to put his Ali pants on, will survive, shuffles out of the way, but they've got an idea that Teddy might still be in the area, so they send out the spam. It doesn't find anything. But Benji gets noted out towards mid.
But again, it's the same setup. Trademark over towards A. The chamber holds in towards short. That position hasn't been tested yet. Drone will come on through, but it's just broken. They're still comfortable to leave him there because he has the rendezvous and he has the Sova Nasi in position to rotate quickly. There can be a heavy force over towards C with no risk, but now the risk factor, that's in garage, and the defender has fallen on down. Think we'll trade things on out, but now the round gets awkward because C-Link has been lost. So too has the B-side fallen.
Unfortunately, it doesn't get much easier. Recon Bolt, and the B site has 2 players standing atop. Fragment to buy some time to make sure that Choi Boy can't push his way through the links. Now it's Ferb to try and aggress on the angle. He's going to be taken down. Ali once more in a situation to try and hang on. But the grip just too loose. And it got weird for SJSU, but now they have the lead.
I feel like I'm watching like the LS replay, man. That played out practically the same in the previous round we saw. Early aggression in the mid round, you get favorable trades. You're denied on a push over towards that C site. And then boom, over towards B, late round hit. Extremity control is held. Both A and C links still in the favor of the defense, and the retake is easy as pop.
So just like, you know, casters on the desk, we've got our crutch words. We're starting to see this kind of crutch default play, this crutch mid-round that has been read by SJSU, and this is where one of those timeouts is good, to go back and be able to rethink instead of just being caught in this chaos once more and defaulting back to B.
IGLs have tendencies, and when they're under pressure, they tend to default back to them.
Yeah.
It happens at every level, and I think it's especially prevalent when your team's a little bit less experienced, especially compared to the experience that SJSU brings to the server. Little blue on blue there as Teddy's knocked down low, but he'll still hold forward. Ollie in a bit of trouble. It gets really weird, but Teddy sticks around, butting off far too much in that round. And now man advantage by 2. That is a gift over to Northwood.
Yeah, Big just in the wrong place at the wrong time, trying to help bail Teddy out. Nazi's here, though, and he's usually the one to equalize, but he only gets this one, so a 2v4 with a From the Shadows and a tour de force available to SJSU here in the retake. The spike planted with little resistance. He's inside the dark cover. Ferbso waits. The shot doesn't land. The recon bolt goes up, and here comes the spam. But Choi Boy survives. Chris, you can't say the same. And now the operator needs to get out of dodge, but you know that they're just going to look to run him down. And for now, Choi Boy will head out to safety, tail tucked between his legs. But here comes the hunt. It's dip out towards the spawn. This is 4,700 credits to try and rip away from the opposition. The trademark to reveal 2 players just in front, and the round is already lost. The op is just the cherry on top.
I'm actually going to disagree with the play to hunt in that one. I think that's a really big risk to be taken when your economy is so vulnerable, but it works out for them.
Yeah.
So all good. You take a risk, it works out. Maybe it's a lower EV play, but if it wins, no harm, no foul.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Just because it worked doesn't mean that it's the right play.
But it's still, like, we talked about Northwood in being one of their big things is their confidence, and I like that they're regaining some of that, and I think that they're going for the hunt, just committing, just sending it is proof of that. This is a team that feels good in those situations when the energy is with them, and they're getting that back into their systems.
Yeah, and working that in tandem, working hand in hand. That's what works for them, being able to, hey, if we're going to do it, we're doing it as a squad. And you saw it there at the end, a player behind a player in front, and well, right in front of Thig, inside the smoke again. That is something that you just have to be ready for at this point. It was out towards C long. Teddy picked up 2 inside the dark cover. Now we go back towards mid, and well, it's Teddy again there in the kill feed.
And SJSU, they're letting a little loose too. They're getting more aggressive. They're giving more like individual freedoms to, well, they're individuals and the aggression works. 3 1v1s, all 1 out. And now what do you do for Northwood? The money in reserve is still not great. You only have 2 players left alive. At this point, there's a minute on the clock. You're hard-pressed to commit to a save at this point, so goes the only option. A-side the destination, it's the right call, but look at the setup here. SJSU is purposefully conceding the space. The second that spike is tapped, they'll probably just let it go, but losing out on Nasi, that was never part of the plan.
No, that was not part of the plan. Both players have been noted, though. Teddy going to give that information over towards the team behind the flank is their trademark. It means nothing. And well, Tyler, the first one to go in way of the flank. Flash on out. Trailblazers there. Ferbso just corralled here in the sewers. He's going to be flashed. He's forced to reload. No! The knife was coming out, but Choi Boy denies.
Dude, this guy's a thief. He's just stealing things away. That was a knife kill for sure. But not to be. SJSU, they have a little fun with it that round. Get aggressive on their own.
Yep.
Went out on some big fights. Nasi falls in a bit of an off position, but still, all good. No foul. They take it home. This momentum is big. I'm hoping for attack timeout, and there we go. We get one.
There it is. Slow it down, try and get it figured out here, the way that this defense is playing. I love this play from Teddy. He goes around the world. He gets that kill out towards C long, then he immediately bounces back towards that A site just to keep the attackers guessing.
Yeah. Yeah, keep them guessing. Keep that information game in towards your favor. Northwood University, though, having a discussion in this one. What is the solution? Because for SJSU, to be fair to them, they have shown a lot of different looks. They've shown this really passive setup where they just kind of have a heavy play, only one setup over towards that A site, very reliant on that chamber utility, stack a lot over towards C, deny an early hit, and then kind of rely on Northwood going back in towards that crutch of the B hit. I think their kind of initial takes, putting pressure on C, kind of getting rid of that chamber utility like they've been doing is good. They just need to show us more and show us more ideas when we get in towards those late round situations. Because in like the IGL versus IGL, where they're going in the late round off the info we have, SJSU has been winning that every day of the week.
Every single day of the week. And even if you guess wrong and saying, we think they're going to hit B or we think they're going to hit this.
I mean, the retakes are just so good, right? It's like, you just work back in. It's fine. You make the wrong call. You still have the majority of the players left alive, and you still have your double initiator to work in.
100%. And the A retake or the B retake is usually somebody inside the link just playing flexible, playing containment. We saw it there where when Big is flanking, he can go anywhere. He can look to corral back out towards mid. eventually did end up being towards A.
And talk of new looks, SJSU have another one. This time it's heavy towards mid, trademarks on each extremity.
Ooh, but it's Ali, it's Dip, okay, one knife needed, Teddy falls, Ali gonna find his two and continue to fight on forward, and although they flexed out towards mid, maybe that B site they showed some presence. The kills inside the garage, or well, just on the outside. That one being on the inside means the C site now open in territory, basically free real estate as Nazi finds himself in a difficult one. Will take down Dip, will take down Ali. One is planting, Firms is around the corner. He almost does it, but Tyler will silence.
Oh, way too close in that regard. Nazi almost getting things done with the 1 versus 4. And well, it's close. It's still not enough. Northwood, they take their pause, they make their change, and they show something really good here. It's a new look. SJSU pull out a brand new setup, and they still adapt around it. They still shut it down. Ali holds for the aggression, gets 2, and the Blade Storm just as invaluable.
Just as invaluable. And it looked like a round before the timeout they wanted to go towards that C site, and it was answered by Dig inside the smoke. This time, they punish the aggression. They play a little bit slower. They earn the respect of SJSU, and look at this. The aggression doesn't stop. It's just not in the same spot. Out towards C-Long already, but quick towards A is Northwood. Teddy here trying to receive anybody who might be inside the lobby.
They just lost their trademark over towards C-Long. They have to be really cautious of that space now. The Dogs even going to clear deep, spot out that chamber. They're going to have to commit a lot to reclaiming areas of the map that were previously lost, and in doing so, they concede all the work that they got done over towards A. Short is back towards Teddy. He's tucked close now.
And well, you flip to the front page of the book, and maybe that trusty B site hit is on the horizon.
But they're just applying the pressure of it. They break down that trademark, kind of create that looming threat. And you see the reply is actually the same out of SJSU. They set up over towards the links, concede space on C proper. Garage has now been spotted as a weakness, but with the trademark gone, SJSU should realize that.
And finally taken down, overdrive, but the Seeker's just out of range was Thig, so this ult will confirm where the hit is coming through as Chris stuck inside of his eyelids close. The near sight for just a moment. And Thig's in a tough spot. He tossed out his ult. He confirmed the information for the squad. Now the spike plant is there. They almost line up for him, but Tyler fights back. And we go 1 for 1. So 4v4 Paranoia across the site onto logs. Their eyes are completely shut. The Paranoia goes huge, and Dip, he just can't plant his feet and fight the 1v4. And the back and forth continues.
You flip to the first page, it's that B site. The last page of the book, though, is the most reliant for SJSU, and it's just their potency in these retakes.
Yep. The potency in the retake just so strong. It all comes down to the space that they're able to garner. And the way that that space works, on basically any site, you just denied A. Okay, you've got a player out towards C long that can pinch back towards C or rotate through mid to pinch him onto B, right? The way that they just close the map down, it's like there's not 3 sites at all.
Yeah, and that's the tough one to lose. It's been back and forth, but that economy taking the bigger hit for this attacking side. Northwood on an eco here, but they're going to spread wide for the moment, play a bit of a default, see if anything will be given away, see if SJSU will show another one of these aggressive rounds.
And we have seen the thrifty victory. I don't know if it quite started like this. Up in hand, and they give too much up to Choi Boy. On the peak is Benji. Gonna grab whatever weapon was available there. Look to back away, maybe give that one on over towards a teammate. Tyler has a rifle in hand, and again, has been a very large tool, but so is Ali. We cannot fail to mention that Omen right on into the kill feed. They lean up towards B, but they don't have the spike. This is giving more time as they have to back away. SJSU, they're just getting set up. They're getting the read. And a fight out towards him gives it to him.
Yeah, they can just play the retake here. As long as Nasi stays alive and stays in a safe position, he has shock darts, he has a recon, he has the ult, his retake's potent, but they realize where he is. They're trying to get rid of him, but he gets 2 before falling, and now that spike 2 is on the floor, and Ali in a tough spot. He's revealed. Chris takes him on down to now just 1 man left to stand. It's Benji in the 1 versus 3, but he wants a fight early here. considering the idea of pushing through this Omen smoke. He has an isolated duel against Chris, and the timing works in towards his favor. That Omen just on the other side, and I believe the drop down heard, but Chris is aware. Benji, no flanks today, no sneaky business. It's a 6th round for SJSU.
Yeah, so much time had passed. You had seen that Teddy, is out towards A-Link saying, hey, he's not this way, guys. He has to be headed your direction. So Chris able to turn around, hit that 180, find the headshot, and close out the round. Now, at the very least, this is an even half for SJSU. If they concede the next 2 rounds, we're 6-6. And mind you, when we swapped sides last time, they were 7-5.
Yeah.
They were the ones to put 8 rounds together. So right here at 6, this is already such a huge victory.
Northwood, this would be a big round for them to pick up, though. Keep this attacking side in towards the favor. It's looking to be a faster hit here over towards the A site, and already they have space over towards long.
Everybody here for the final. Lee gonna teleport back site. Nope. It's going to get denied. Onto the site they go. As Teddy the first to fall inside the cloudburst. Dip finds his way on the way out, but Benji, 3 huge kills on the round. They're finally answered back by Nazi, 3 of his own. And just like that, it's a 1v1, but it goes the way of Tyler.
Tyler, again, in these clutch situations, when the going gets tight, Tyler steps up. 11-7 for the Sova. And a 5th round on the board. Their money was so tight going on in, but they're rewarded. And now an opportunity even for an even half here. It started so rough for Northwood, but they've adapted. They fixed their issues, and they are looking better.
And that right there, that's the Northwood that we know. Let's see you guys stack up, piece it together 1 by 1 as a squad. I mean, piece 1 by 1, not go in 1 by 1. Obviously, that's not what's working. It's been this aggression, this full frontal from the squad. Last time they had the ultimates available for it. This time, not quite the same. And unfortunately, they've all been revealed. A beautiful recon bolt as Dip is able to dodge away. Tyler actually gets tagged up by that one in the drone. Will reveal Teddy. Tosses out the cloudburst, dashes to safety. So we're dashless on both sides, but once more, the site should still be here on the A side, and inside the smoke, the adjustment made by Dip. He doesn't put his body on the line. Instead, he sends a few rounds and gets good damage.
Now a critical mid-round decision to be made here for Northwood University. They still have their flanks locked down, or at least they can presume they do, with those trademarks in position, but they're still holding over towards long. That might just be red. San Jose State University is in position. They're suspecting this to be a re-hit on A, and they might just be right, but they've already lost a member. Nasi's down.
And no committal there.
They pause again. It's his patience. It has been so good out of them. The decision-making for Northwood University has been well improved. The Dogs shows Dip in towards mid. Does that trigger reaction? Does that pull a player off this A site? If it does, it could be dire, because now they sit. It is finally coming through, and Ferbs opens up a double for him, and only 2 players left. San Jose State University in a very tough position here, but still doable, and no reason not to go for it. And the 2 versus 5 communication between the 2 players, the utmost importance. Let's see if we can take a listen in with them for our McDonald's mic'd up moment.
You are powerless.
Well, they lose out on that final round at the half, but still, SJSU thinking about those ideas already, focusing in towards this next round, seeing what they can get done in this pistol.
Yeah, what a half. I mean, what a series thus far. Again, just going back up to the desk, they called it perfectly, man. This is going to be a close series, the closest one we've seen yet. And although we have seen a little bit of wavering from both of these sides, I mean, it is head and shoulders above what we were seeing back in the quarterfinals, what we saw in the semifinals. Now we get to the grand finals, and it's clear that these are the 2 teams that belong here, and it's a pistol round to scoop up the lead, as we should be coming out of the LLS replay. See SJSU mounting their attack, a dash up towards B. They want to split out towards A, though. Ferbs immediately blindsided Toy Boy to find the next. The flash is perfect, but it catches Teddy, and Tyler's here to hang on. But the backstab's right around the corner, and instead it's Dig right in his face with the baby Vandal in way of Frenzy. I mean, what a play here in the pistol for SJSU.
It's vintage, man. How often do you see those kind of mid-B in towards A splits? It doesn't happen too often, and you saw that Northwood was completely unprepared for that play. They were trying to deal with a war on two fronts, and both fronts utterly crumbled under that pressure. Now it's just 2 players left alive to make an attempt at this retake. Plenty of headhunter bullets. Benji could find some big shots, maybe a chance here, but the setup, this crossfire, is so strong for SJSU.
And the util, that's available, right? Oh, a flash comes out, a Paranoia to follow. The drop from heaven, it's immediately answered, and Nazi. I mean, it's nauseating how much we've said his name today.
It really is. SJSU, though, here's the biggest challenge of them all. Win an anti-eco round.
Win an anti-eco round. That has been the biggest challenge. It feels impossible. Winning an anti-eco round, challenge, difficulty, impossible. I think we just have to give the credit where credit's due, though. The way that Northwood University have been playing those, they're playing it every single round like it matters. And obviously it does, but there are some times where you can see teams take a step back, play their 1v1s, hope they get a couple of dinks with the classic and maybe get a kill instead. They're always working on closing it out for the most part, as we've got that McDonald's mic'd up listening here with SJSU.
Yeah. Chamber just TP?
I can drone.
That's me.
Close,
dog short and then drone long.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, droning. Backside.
Shock. I'm still holding you just in case.
Back.
Let's spawn. No one else was sure.
Come on.
Getting good post. Getting good post.
Yeah, we haven't dropped.
They're coming out. He's out.
Dash. Fighting. Jump down. Nice.
You can see what those moments mean to them. Finally, one of those rounds going cleanly for SJSU. And you love to see the energy. Like the Des was saying, friends before teammates. These guys are having fun with it, not letting the pressure get to them, and just hyping up their boy when he has a sick play.
Absolutely. Calling out the 4K there for Chris, but also, just like we were saying, Northwood University plays every round like it matters. Even in that anti-eco, the hype is through the roof. Obviously, maybe expecting to win that round because of just the arsenal alone going into it, but the hype is all the same. You just keep that momentum rolling forward. No reason to let off or hit the brakes, but now there's rifles in hand here for the defense, and Benji, he's got the high ground.
That he does, but this B site might soon be lost. Only one player to hold, and that Jet already dashing in deep, but it was never a commitment. It was just a bait, try and pull some rotations. The real focus is Garage, and likely to end over towards his C site. Site has been lost unless they just want to assert themselves through the smoke here. Northwood considered it, but do not commit to the play. So Spike to come down, it becomes a question of the retake.
Yeah, it's just a perfect understanding there of what's going to happen on this C site. You toss out the dark cover, and you have to assume that somebody's either going to push it or get inside. So Dig uses that Trailblazer, gets it in, forces this defense back, and now it's still numbers advantage for the defense, but in the post plant here for the attack, this is where they want to be a player up close and personal, and Ollie gets taken down, but Benji back in the kill feed. Tyler gonna go fishing, but there's just nothing to catch as Nazi with the Sheriff in hand doing damage, and Chris is here on the cross, but we're back and forth for more as the Spectre shots, they just don't land. Nazi gets answered out towards long, and in the full buy round, it goes the way of Northwood University.
I mean, the coordination on that crossfire, they just swing with full trust in each other, and well, it might have been a second light. The teammate is there. They back each other up, and Northwood do hold on throughout that round. Still, it was just a bonus, and for the side of SJSU, they accomplished their goal. Deal some damage, take away 2 of those guns, force a reinvestment, and get the extra 300 creds for the whole team off that spike plant. Now they'll have a full investment on in. Their ult economy is just around the corner from this Hunter's Fury, from that ult for Chris, and everything else getting pretty close there as well. If they win here, that's a big swing to regain their momentum and keep it squarely within their court.
His tour de force. Gonna have some backup behind it. Flash out towards C. Ollie. Position noted, dark cover goes down. Paranoia, he wants to fight forward. He doesn't want a shrouded step to safety, and Dip is here to try and bail him out for 2 kills on the round. He survives, and here comes Ferbs to set up the squad. Maybe got his Jet a bit in the flash, but he does it all himself. 2 more kills answered, and this is a full buy round from SJSU to get us tied back up. But it's Choi Boy to keep us from that here in a 1v4. He's got himself a Vandal. He's got himself full shields. And he's got to fight just around the corner. He's wary of the util that might be available. Ferbs up from downtown will close out the round. 3 kills on it, no command online for the KO. But most importantly, we're not up at 8.
Yeah, those are the rounds that Northwood needed. That was the swing for momentum, and they get it in towards their favor. Make or break for both the economies, and the better goes towards Northwood. I'm wondering now if they'll make a little bit more of aggressive play, if they'll just hold on with that operator in play. We'll actually get an opportunity to listen to another mic'd up moment here presented by McDonald's over with Northwood University.
You guys have nothing for garage. You guys have nothing for garage.
I'm walking out C.
Okay, I'll cross then, Tyler.
I'm walking out C.
Alright, heard.
Swear to God, if these casters.
They smoked for cross. And Darden, can you break?
Got jet on the knife. Okay, I'm chilling here.
Plat. Okay. I'm holding the crack, Tyler.
Okay. Holding your garage from Plat. Oh, Sky just peeked me. They re-smoke it. I'll drone short.
Yeah,
I think they're hitting B.
Okay, I'm rotating
Sky
Tyler.
just swung. In
NB,
my trip.
NB.
Landing. Melting him here. Chamber 2 out. They flash C-Link. I'm flanking.
Give me backside.
Lock in sight.
I'm trying to clear backside.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dip. I'm flanking window.
Backside's clear.
So one more window.
Nice.
Right side garage window.
You tap.
Right side rear.
You tap.
Flank, flank.
Yeah, flank.
One bullet. Listen, I don't think we should be fighting.
No, we shouldn't.
Flanks upon flanks, but for the side of Northwood University, the realization that one was in their backlines just a moment too late. Great value found in the post there for Thig.
Yeah, and I feel like that is kind of the Northwood special. We saw Ollie do it out towards mid on Breeze, where he creeps up mid doors. He's in the back lines. Dink, dink, finds a 2K in a 1v2, and this time it's SJSU to get it done in a similar fashion. And with that round loss for Northwood, the buy's not the best. We've seen damage, though, with the Guardians. We've seen damage, especially with the Marshal in the hands of Ali. So, opportunities aplenty here on this side of things. Meanwhile, SJSU, the respect at the start of this round is the 5-point stance.
Making sure nothing funny happens. There's no play aggressive for Northwood just yet. They're instead just holding, trying to see what they can get done with these sheriffs. But Teddy has already found space over towards a long, locking down this area of the map, and with the spike postured towards that side, they're still just patient in this endeavor. Northwood University, though, they've spotted out that cloud burst. They hear that orb getting grabbed, so they're very quick to try and pull rotations, but second guessing for the moment. Only a bit of noise heard, and now that information confirmed, but they don't know the number still, as C-Site does look to be that destination for SJSU.
They are leading back that way. They're going to be met by the resistance of 2. It's Benji to take the first shot. The Headhunter doesn't quite find its mark, so will rendezvous to safety. Meanwhile, both Benji and Ali punished, but here comes Dip. 3 kills with the Guardian. He wants some more. But he'll finally be silenced. He'll finally be slowed down, and Chris was trying to sneak away with the spike, but the Guardians continue to pop off here for Northwood University. Now Teddy needs to match that same energy with 14 seconds left on the clock. A rough situation to be in, and he doesn't spot the robot atop the logs.
9-9. They fight back into things here. Northwood University winning a big round in that one, and it's just the hold out towards long. Dip doing practically it all in that round. So strong in these holds, and now he's earned himself an operator as well.
Man, I mean, that right there, again, timing, but impressive nonetheless. Nice collateral shot. And like you said, operator in hand, and if things get spicy, he's got the Blade Storm. We know economy's also been a problem, so maybe he saves it for a later round. This time, though, the death ball strategy, it's adopted a little bit for the side of SJSU, and we'll see what adaptations they make to this strategy to call it their own. As Tyler tucks himself away, the op shot, I believe it takes down the Trailblazer. Smokes go out, dark covers aplenty, and the sight hit just around the corner. Flash out, Tyler close angle, thinks ready for it, but the blades are still here. Dips pop them in this round. but he gets silenced immediately. The blades ripped away, the robot falls as well. A paranoia across the site, but nobody there to answer for it as Ali wants to go aggressive, a 2v3, but the angles, they've got to be cleared, and they do. They stop the plant, but Thig, 3 kills on the round as Benji just around the corner, the last one standing out of range from the resurrection. And Choi Boy and Thig, they just get to hang on. It's a healthy chamber. It's a pistol in hand. Thig getting a little crazy, but now the clock, it's in favor of SJSU.
Benji has time to rotate, though. He has time to play within this one. Just isolating a duel. That's his only goal, up towards heaven. He could get a 1v1 here versus Thig. He's found it, and he knows the position of Choi Boy as well. But the jump behind still, it's not enough for Choi Boy to win it. Benji clutches things out. A 3K for the ban, and double digits secured for Northwood.
The fight from heaven always feels impossible, especially when you have to shoot at your feet. You jump atop the ledge, and it just works out for Benji. Where there's a will, there is a way. The same plays were being made in the quarterfinals from this chamber or the Killjoy, whatever it may be, and he brings it out in the most important time. They reclaim the lead here on their map pick. It's double digits for Northwood.
And look at this money. It is tough for the side of SJSU. Lesser weapons across the board here. Just one Vandal to work with in the server, but still a buy that could be potent. Dip fighting forward, has the dash available, but doesn't have the chance to use it. Chris just absolutely beheads him, and now a 4v5 to play with off the rip. Northwood, though, they have a response. They're pushing the extremities quickly here. They have lots of space. The Seekers will dissuade a little bit, but if you can hold on to long, if you can stay alive for Ali, he could win this round.
Yeah, if Ali can stay alive, the most survivable member here that we've seen on the broadcast tosses out the smoke, and Ferbsa makes sure that he will stay standing as Benji pushes on for 2. The C site, it's been completely cleared of attackers, and guess what? They found themselves a spike.
That they did. Choi Boy. A backstab, but what does he have available? The Headhunter, all he really has available, and now no teammate even to stand by his side. The round slips away. 4 members left standing, and we called out Ali again. He stays alive in that critical position. He holds the pressure. His teammates flank in from the backside, and Ferbsa does a ton to keep that round in towards the favor of Northwood.
Yeah, and that's a situation for Ali's survival. Although he didn't take part in any 5 of those kills, he was a huge part in just getting the attention, just making sure that Teddy was trying to stay on that line. And unfortunately, nobody stopped that push back. Sight means a couple of free kills and a round scooped up. Now a 2-round lead, the way of Northwood University, and they're starting to show us that proficiency. They're starting to show us that comfortability, why they took us to Haven, and quite possibly why they get us to a map 3.
SJSU, though, will take their tactical pause for the second half here and discuss the issues that have been cropping up against them. A troublesome attack thus far for this squad. But if they can win out on this round, keep that money in towards their favor. There's still plentiful time to swing this back in their favor. Still plenty of time and opportunity to make this one a 2-0.
Yeah, no better time to do it. The buy in that last round, it looked a little shaky. I'm wondering what they're bringing into this one. As we see the coaches getting involved, talking their way through it. I mean, a lot riding on the line here for this timeout on this map. In a sense, the next one. A sense nice and defaulted. It's a little bit tighter of a squeeze, and we already saw again how Northwood would like to play that one, but we jump back into the action. It's a tour de force out towards long, holding the angle, but nothing given to him just yet. Meanwhile, nice one-way smoke. Gonna slow down this push out towards mid.
Slow things down for a moment. Drone goes through the one-way, though, and Ali actually not tagged in that one. Will pop the paranoia and wants to just assert the space in garage. He'll do so for now, but this split is still queued up. The delay potential could be great, but the dog, it stuns him up. Ali is down. Great work by Teddy opening up the site. Now it's just Dip. Left alive, the blind connects, but he's still here. Holds the line with the op, and now dashes away to safety as well. There's a teammate even in the back lines. That KO has arrived, so now supportive utility, a supportive player, but we're in this 4v4, and there's time to play with. SJSU still have the opportunity to cancel, and for now they cut noise and hold.
And the 0 point reveals 1. That was Chris to be spotted out. As things get quiet here on Haven, but the positions they're being held, the defense, they're not giving this one up. They don't want to allow space for free, and a nice regrowth to get Chris back up to 100 HP, but the op is still on the line. Ferbza is still here to help his teammate out. Oh, there's the op shot. Recon Bolt, they want to re-exec here on the C. Sight flashes out, 10 seconds on the clock. Here comes the chaos. Who's going to thrive on the inside? It's seeming like Northwood for just a moment as the op still on the angle. 8 health, you will not survive. And well, for Nazi, you just can't win the round. You couldn't plant, you couldn't fight your way out, and Dip goes huge.
And Dip is the man to steal it all, and that one, a 4K picked up across the round, making himself a hero since that operator has been purchased on in. This Jet has looked unstoppable. As we take a look back at the LLS replay, there was a moment there where SJSU was just pausing. They were trying to pull a rotation off the site, but there was information over towards A. Those trademarks were still up there. They were never broken, so the info game was still very much in towards the favor of Northwood, so they're comfortable to hold on that C stack. And well, they're comfortable to win the round as well. 4 in a row, and just 1 away from taking us to Ascent.
Revealing area.
And from the shadows available for the defense of Northwood University, Hunter's Fury available on the opposite side. Well, speaking of Sova util, we've got the Whirly Bird out towards A long. It's going to clear the close corners. Doesn't get too deep into lobby anymore. Nazi trades his out, and also a couple of members go unspotted by that one. So the information game still feels a bit dark for both of these teams, but look at this. They're all stacked up. They all have to answer to Tyler, and he only gets 1. The trade, it's immediate, but here comes the reinforcements. Hunter's Fury out across the site. The angle's being cleared out, and Nazi gets nothing with it, but he has the spike in hand as he pushes aggressively here onto the B side. He's going to look to get that one planted. It's Dip on the angle. It's Choi Boy just on the other side. It gives up way too much, and Dip will capitalize.
That was the fight that needed to be won, and now it slipped away. Now it's a pinch from 2 angles. Nasi still looking to hold down the fourth, though. Has a dart, but there's too many players to watch for, and now it's just 1 man remaining. Fig has been great in these clutches, but he's just looking the wrong direction. Somehow still alive, but not for long. Map number 2, the way of Northwood.
Map number 2, the way of Northwood. We weren't sure how they were feeling off of a close loss on Breeze, and this just answered it for us.
I mean, what? We end out streak of 5 rounds in a row for Northwood. In that late round of the second half, they find the adaptation. I think the biggest part of it, get Dip on that up, have that sustaining force. You have him constantly locking down the space towards C. You have those trademarks that were never really tested over towards, especially on that A site. So SJSU in these rounds where they were playing really slow, they just didn't leave themselves too many options in these mid-round calls, and they just kind of got caught into these situations time and again where they're just pushing that operator with no time, no second chance, and Dip just thrives in those situations.
Absolutely. As we take a look back at the LLS replays here on Haven, it was a close one. It was a back and forth until the very end, where Northwood University, they just seized control and pieced together 5 in a row to close us out. And a player that I want to mention, because we talk about the most survivable Ollie, we talked about Tyler and what Dip was getting done. And although Ferbza wasn't incredibly quiet, he wasn't incredibly standout. He's not dropping 30 bombs.
Sure.
But every time you see Ferbza, he's in a position to help his team. It's a flash coming through, and it's somebody else collecting those kills, playing that support role, playing that initiator role so darn well, and it doesn't necessarily mean getting the kills, and we've seen it in the series that we've got.
And I think a lot of the story of this map was the kind of difference between those secondary initiators. We had the KO versus that Sky coming on through, and I think the value that they were getting out of the KO was absolutely excellent. They were able to clean up so many different kills. They were locking things down, denying that utility, and it just worked. Still, 1 more map remaining in these series. One of these teams walking away your champion straight after this break.
The Collegiate Esports Commissioner's Cup is presented by Microsoft CW. Barbasol. Go to barbasol.com/Dominion to see all the limited edition Jurassic cans. New Street. New Street helps you navigate the collectibles markets with confidence. Visit newstreet.com to find out more. McDonald's. Download the McDonald's app for exclusive deals and easy ordering. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by the U.S. Air Force. See if you can command the stack in the U.S. Air Force's award-winning augmented reality flight experience mobile game available in the App Store. In partnership with CSMG, transforming traditional sports and esports. EsportsU, the flagship of collegiate esports. Skillshot Media, the official broadcasting partner of the CECC. Atlanta Esports Alliance, location host of the CECC 2022 in Atlanta, Georgia. Esports Foundry, official tournament operator for the CECC. Welcome back to CECC. We've got some great matches going on. We are tied up 1-1 in the Valorant Grand Final. And Blue, you've got some stuff to show us after that match. What is it?
Yeah, there was some really good stuff that happened in that match. I mean, if I could, I would just package it all, but that would just be replaying a very long game that went back and forth between the two teams. It got out of hand there towards the end for the side of San Jose. I mean, SJSU, they kind of fell apart, which is what we've been saying Northwood has been doing. But Northwood's been stepping up. And right here, this entire round 5, this was something of beauty for the side of Northwood, because I was looking at SJSU. If you look at that mini-map, you see they've got Jet in the middle, kind of playing that IGL intel. She's not really an intel agent, but she can provide it with her eyes. And she's in there flexing in between. You got 2 people on that C site, you got 2 people on the B site, and they're kind of sandwiching those opponents. And like we said earlier, Northwood kind of sticking together. They don't really play the lanes and those crossfires, and if they get caught in a trap, and they kind of just won the round because they got very aggressive a little too early from the side of SJSU. I think if they would have played a little bit more defensively and a little bit more patiently, maybe gathered a little bit more intel and waited, because if they waste another 20 seconds on the clock here, out of that 40 that was remaining, they can kind of just collapse like a Venus flytrap and just engulf Northwood. But instead, they gave up their positions a little too soon, especially in the window.
Yeah, that's something that I think was actually super interesting. And one of the things it is that I wanted to mention, at first I was like, the drafts themselves, I don't really see too much of a difference. It's right, maybe there's like a 1 character difference at the most, right? Instead of, you know, like the Sky, you're running the KO. But things got put into perspective for me, like watching that replay again. Because the more it is I watch that, and this is like what I love about video games in general, especially competitive games, because this is why they're sick, right? Sometimes those minute differences can make all the difference. And I just realized that if they didn't have KO there, they wouldn't have won that round, especially in Garage. Because KO gave them the information to understand, hey, we need to at least watch the window. If she's in the back, you know, we might as well clear close, and that way we have a better chance of knowing what's going on. If they didn't clear that, that angle that Jet is holding is actually a one-way. She'll see the tops of their heads. They have no idea she's in that corner. So that actually plays a huge role into how they actually came into Garage and overtook C-Site from there.
Yeah, even though it was actually San Jose who took that round due to the staggered positioning, like they played it really, really well with, you know, making sure they pushed from both sides and all that kind of stuff. It was actually the team play that we were trying to find out from the first map. Why weren't we seeing this from Northwood? Why are we not seeing you guys go together and win those challenges and take those trades? We were finally starting to see that foundational play, and then you do get it. You even heard, you know, the casting team. They're talking about like, yo, Fripsa, although not doing the greatest with, you know, popping a 30K, is still providing a ton of information, being in the right position to provide that info. And then you still have Tyler and Dip getting it done. So it is good to see Northwood bounce back in the position and the way that they did it. And a lot of it foundationally was very much so prevalent in those early rounds. And for a team that ramps up, Northwood's starting to do that. It's starting to go back in their favor.
Well, as far as your predictions go, I'm sure you're hoping that's the case. But lucky for us, it all comes down to this. This will be the final match. After this, we will know who is our champion here at CECC. And let's go to the casters to get this match started right now.
Well, I think we saw a very easy world where that could have been a duo, where we could have seen that just pivot the direction of SJSU. But a squad that we've critiqued a little bit for their adaptation in towards the latter stages of these games, they step up, they fix their issues, and they take home map number 2. Now Ascent, our final grounds.
Ascent, our final grounds, and coming into this one, we already got a look here on the broadcast as to how Northwood likes to play this one. It's fast, it's aggressive, it's together. They're going to take this space. But again, it's hard to say because they were playing against a TAMU squad that was okay and just relinquishing that space, giving that one up, and not really having an answer to that quick hit into B with the paranoia, right? Wanting to play aggressive, TAMU, the rounds that they wanted to take B main, they're just immediately just bowled over. There's really nothing they can do. We do know, though, however, that it's not going to be as one-sided in way of these retakes, right? SJSU, we just saw them in 2 maps. They like to play around the map. They're going to play that style where it feels suffocating once you get that spike planted and you're completely trapped on the site.
Yeah, this could very much be the direction of either team. I think for SJSU, again, we've talked about this a little bit before, but they've very much been in this position. They've been in these moments where series are slipping away from them. They've been here. They've been on the stages like this before, and they have a lot to prove in towards this match, especially with their opponent just forcing that respect out towards Haven. I think that the turnaround away of the defense for Northwood has been a really big success point for them, and just their willingness to get aggressive, but never really overdoing it. Like the rounds that Dip was pushing down, I don't think we ever really saw a moment where SJSU was punishing that, because the majority of the time it was rather passive, just holding back, set up with that operator, comfortable in what the chamber utility and what kind of that the Sova darts and the Sova drone for the reclear was providing. So they never had to be as proactive as we knew them previously to be. They're showing us different looks. It's a good sign.
It's a great sign, and I love the way that once we finally started getting comfortable on the side of Northwood, the way that they were playing the map on the defensive side of things, they're working together. There's always multiple people in that area looking to play the trade. It's also what we were seeing on attack when Benji was pushing forward with the operator, the tour de force, whatever it may be. So they're not just taking these individual 1v1s. They're not taking these individual dry peaks, whatever it may be, and giving up too much over towards SJSU. And this is a team. You give them an inch, they will take a mile, and they were just starved of that inch come the latter half of that game on Haven.
Yeah, now I want to start to kind of ask a question around agents, like, because thus far I think the biggest identity for Northwood as a team is the way that they've been playing KO. Practically every map that we've seen, I believe actually every map we've seen, it has been Ferbsa committed on into that role, whereas, excuse me, for Northwood. On the other side for SJSU, they've been a lot more variable. They're still running the double initiator, as the majority of teams in Valorant do, but they're kind of rotating around. I believe they're a team that can be comfortable to maybe implement the KO from time to time, but they'll also play that Sky. I'm wondering where they'll head for Ascent, because Sky oftentimes is a less common pick here.
Yeah, definitely a less common pick. And the KO, depending on how this goes, again, I'm looking at Choi Boy, right? Is he still going to be rocking that chamber, or is he going to be taking a step back as well as a Sentinel, just like Benji does, and playing that Killjoy? This is a map where we do see different ideologies. We'll get teams that play the Astra here. We'll get teams that do force the chamber. You can still get that same value, and if you've got an aggressive chamber player, well, they're still allowed to do it here on Haven, or excuse me, Ascent.
I think Ascent is a map that really shows team identity in 2 ways. In terms of what you pick in as your secondary initiator, if you even commit to that. If you're a KO team, if you're one of the odd Sky teams, or if you are one that's kind of newly implementing that breach. Also in way of your controller pick, because I think all 3 of the primary controllers are equally as effective on this map. Astra may be a little tougher to find value out of, but if that's the way you like to play, if your setups are reliant on the gravel, you can make it work. However, I think both these teams probably will just stick on toward the Omen that we've known them to play, and they're solid at. It's clear that's a comfortable role for Chris, and on the other side, it's been a really strong role for Ali to slot into.
Okay, take a look at this. Our initiator flex role question, it's been answered. We get the Sage coming through for Thig. It's not the double initiator here on the side of SJSU. Meanwhile, things looking fine and dandy, normal. I think Dip locks in the Jet. There is a world where the Raze can work. It is just going to be a Jet at the end of the day. Now, this would be a big question mark. Okay, Benji does just lock in that Killjoy.
Yeah, and I think pulling out the Sage on this map is a really fun idea. It's kind of an identity that I think, like VCT Stage 1, Knights were one of the teams that was really kind of forcing that into the meta and making an impressive run, like almost like 23 maps straight that team was able to win. And it's obviously trickled down towards this collegiate level. You can get a lot of value out of the boosts on that attacking side. It kind of helps to zone off space in the late round for that defense. Really, my eyes on this map are on Thig. It's also a role that you can pick up the operator if you want to. Sage, I think, gives a lot of different options to the individual, and someone who is as flexible as Thig can thrive in that position.
Yeah, 100%, but this is it. It comes down to this. You see the good lucks in the chat. Maybe you don't, and maybe it's just us, but either way, at the end of the day, one map separates us from crowning someone. The Collegiate Kings. Is it going to be SJSU? Is it going to be Northwood University? Well, we get to find out here on Ascent. And once more, on the attacking side, it's the aggressive Northwood University.
That it is, and they're set up early over towards the A site. Choiboy in a position to receive. It is interesting to note that both teams do commit to the Killjoy. We've seen her start to fall more and more out of prevalence as Breach has found his way in towards the meta, but not many of these collegiate teams rocking with that Breach, so that Killjoy is still getting quite a bit of value. It's going to be a split here quick towards A. There's a microwave setup, but no one to follow it up, so it looks like for the side of SJSU, they might just look to concede. Choiboy, though, he could be in trouble. He's still stuck down towards Hell. There's players swinging to support him, but it's 1-for-1. Now they'll back away, comfortable in playing this retake for SJSU.
Yeah, look at the damage dealt, though. Such a tough spot. It does seem like Teddy's going to be the one that receives the healing orb, but Chris, he's a little worse for wear. He's a jumping right-click away from falling maybe earlier than he would hope for, and Tyler just tucking himself away. He's ready for that recon bolt that will reveal the players on the site. We'll see if that's the spot for it, and it's the exact spot. No pings to come through. A crossfire just underneath, but a beautiful paranoia dip just trying to hide Tyler to follow inside the cloudburst. As that one dissipates, the attack starts to fall apart as Verbsa finally answered as the last one standing, and SJSU gets started early.
I think that the just reaction to immediately cloudburst there is at its core a good idea, but based off the pace of that retake and how split up it was, it isolated those players over towards Hell. There was one man who was completely trapped. It was a 1v1 versus Nasi. He doesn't win that out, and in a way, Segment's not favoring that attacking team trying to hold down the spike, but favoring the retakers in a way. When things are that fast, when things are that coordinated, one little piece of utility going one way or another can change the tide. But SJSU, they're continuing to prove their strength in these pistol rounds. Let's see again if they can convert off it. We've seen that to be troublesome.
Yeah, and this time there's a bit more invested into it with that spike being planted. You see the frenzy, you see a couple of sheriffs, a few sheriffs I should say, because it is 3 sheriffs. Choiboy, however, he's elected to take a different position of authority. He wants to be the judge here in this round.
Yeah, and here's the value. You see how that's Sage intentionally leaving a little bit of a gap. They can hold that down. Hope that an unsuspecting head will pop on through. But thus far, that space is being respected. Just the classics looking to chip away and eventually reclaim space over towards B main. As that is where the spike will lean for the moment. As Tip is working his way up slow here. Sheriff in hand. Nasi will take contact, try and bait in for that Sage.
Shots through the wall. They land for damage. Ali, unfortunately, going to fall down to the judge. Dip just gets forced forward. He was trying to escape that recon. Bolt didn't want to get revealed, and unfortunately, he's punished for his life. But through the wall, okay, it's the perfect timing for Ferbs, and now it's the baby. Oh, no, it's not. It's not the baby vandal. It's just the massacre on the B site.
Yeah, Fig will fall in that one, but oh well, all good. 4 weapons go in, 4 weapons come out. It was, I believe, just the Sheriff invested at the beginning for Teddy, and now his whole goal with that, get the Operator. He'll find it online in round number 3. You're always taking an inherent risk in investing in that big weapon early on, but if he gets a kill or 2 here, stays alive, sets his teammates up for success, then, well, that could very well be rewarded.
And shout out to that LLS replay, showing that sick shot from Ferbs, just pinging the head of Thig through the wall with the Sheriff. The penetration good enough to play that counter through that B main wall out towards the site. And well, now it's more than Sheriffs. Zali gonna step up, tap onto the spike. Choiboy, he's hanging onto that tried and true turret here for information. He can play off of this one, look to play the swing, and Ali baits him into it.
That's great. Activates the turret, but the trap fails wholly. So now it's a 5 versus 3, and the information very much lacking for SJSU. The Killjoy utility offline. Nasi has no idea what's holding on the other side towards the tree room. He just elects to swing on through, and he gets nothing as a result. Chris is still on this side. It's a Bulldog in hand. 1 frag, that's good. He needs more, though, and the dink will not be enough. Thig, that Operator, I don't believe ever even got a shot off. There was a player push forward towards B main, so it's possible that that was spotted while we were watching the action over towards A, but I don't think a hunt is coming, at least not yet.
Yeah, we know that Northwood can be good for it. Can look to go for that hunt to try and strip that weapon away. It would definitely hurt a little bit, although this was just that bonus round for SJSU. It will be conceded over, and this time conceded over in a more convincing fashion. We've seen it again throughout the weekend for Northwood. They win this bonus round, their first real buy round in round 3, but they do it with one person alive. They reinvest into that round following, and the reinvestment, it's just so poor compared to what we should be seeing out of SJSU coming into this next round. So the spike will blow, the round will go the way of Northwood University, but the op was saved, and we'll see what else they've got in store here in way of a bye.
They should be able to muster a full investment around that, give the op back to Teddy, and everyone else can get a gun. Maybe Barthig, who fell on his sword, brought the weapon in towards the next round, but sacrifices onto the Spectre as a result. Where's Teddy going to go with this one? Because getting those aggressive angles, especially with the new jet nerfs coming on through when you're playing against a KO, can be really difficult. What are those knives? And when you've already used the charge on your dash, you can't get any value out of it, and you get stuck in towards these tough positions. We've seen this execute a lot over towards B main, but this time it's shut down. No one's playing close. No one receives the paranoia, and Joyboy gets his own. His hops are great too. The movement to stay out of that Hunter's Fury, to stay out of trouble, and to stay alive on this site. Not for long though. Hallie on the trade back, and now Nazi alone in the back lines.
Yeah, from Choi Boy to Choi Bunny. Unfortunately, moments later, it became Wabbit season, and he gets taken down. But a 4v4, as they still want to fight for this site. They haven't seen the Odin just yet. Now Nazi gonna let it ring true as Ali, a 1v3, a tough spot, blinded up, taken down through the box, and SJSU slap another in the win column.
Great hold there by Nasi, but early on it was just Choi Boy creating that space. This is what we saw throughout that TAMU series. TAMU never really found an answer for that paranoia KO knife combination play. Immediately it's answered here. SJSU don't even fall for the play once.
And that's the respect that you have to give. It's the wherewithal to understand that not only are you in a bad position playing up close because of that paranoia, you also have to be wary of this KO.
Yeah.
One of Choi Boy's jobs, outside of everything else that he has to do in this game, is do not get hit by that 0 point, and if you can, be outside the range of that null command as it's getting popped.
Really early investment of both that knife and the dart to take space here over towards mid. Looks like they might want to set up for a push in towards mid here, or excuse me, a split in towards B, as space will be garnered over towards B main and top mid taken too. Getting rid of that alarm bot is always a big box to check for these attacking sided defaults, but with just the lesser weapons still, they're hoping they can get a kill before committing wholly into any play.
And you saw it there, Ferbza close to that null command, only 1 pip away, so even in loss this round, small victories will be had on the side of Northwood University. And we'll see if Thig, he's pretty close to that resurrection as well. We'll see if he can get that one online. Slow orb to follow. It'll stop the push for now, and the knife will reveal. So good timing to get that slow out before the silence comes through.
Double setup over towards the tree room here. Sage will take contact. Chris can swing off of that dart. Not to come instead, it's just a drawn forward, but that wall is still up. Never broken, and was able to fully reinforce its way on through. Eventually the paranoia comes, but still, time has been bought here. Dark cover comes on through, so that A hit never fully comes. Instead, it's a double back over towards this B site, but it's well timed. Rotates actually pulling away. The space might fully be conceded.
The footsteps away were sold as footsteps deeper into the A side. That's what it seems like it was. That spike can't make its way on just yet. Choi Boy gonna find Ferbza running out of time, but Benji will get it planted firmly here in that default area as Tyler grabs one with the classic name a better duo. Well then, maybe Killjoy and our turret. That is a pretty darn good duo here. Unfortunately, Benji worse for wear. Low HP dip. Also receiving that same fate. Nice body shot though. Chip damage is there. Paranoia, recon bolt to reveal. Can't be wallbang just yet. He fights out on his shield. Benji goes, but with 3 players to worry about and way too many angles, it's Chris to close it out. It was a scary round for a moment. The buy from Northwood University, it wasn't the best, and they did some decent damage.
4-1 now for San Jose. They are looking indomitable early on this defensive side, and their alt economy is bountiful. 2 of the biggest ones available there in way of the lockdown and that Hunter's Fury. With guns up and 2 big ults of their own, I'm wondering if Northwood will just look to take this one quicker in way of an execute. They have that no command, which could completely shut down that Hunter's Fury, which means, hey, that lockdown can come off no harm, no foul. Well, still, you're always at the risk there of just being abused by the retake, because there's a counter null command as well, or excuse me, there's a counter in way of the lockdown that you can just work straight back in with. These rounds where it's heavy on the ults always get a little bit interesting in way of that meta game, almost becoming a MOBA in a way there. So they'll start things off with just this default. Again, re-clearing space in through mid, trying to feel out where that operator is hiding.
And Dig on the same angle that we've seen the Sage play previously. Wants to make sure that he can always get this information inside A main, and he does so. Spotting out 2 players, one the Sova through the drone, the other the Omen just on the other side. Now has to be wary. Okay, across the map we go with the ultimate. Nazi finds the tag. Can he get the frag? No, he can't. It's Verbsa to just escape and stay alive as Ali pushes his way up. He's able to clear out Wine, but again, stalled out for just a moment. This is his own dark cover that he's got to push through.
Look how close the Silva is. The Silva's just playing in towards the tree room. If Null Command comes on through here, or excuse me, there's not even going to be an opportunity to reply with shock darts. That Hunter's Fury also was already used, so it just has to be the counter lockdown coming through instead. Does this call for the cancel, or do they still commit in towards A? If they cancel, they're taking a risk because the flank is already coming on through. They look to commit, but Tide is working against them. That defender lockdown, they have to push it, they have to fight for it. But it's just a meat grinder. Nazi was ready, he holds the crossing, well, Dip gets one. That's all there will be for Northwood University. They take the risk, but get nothing for it.
I mean, they just jumped into it, like you said, the meat grinder, just a slaughter. Nazi had one of the largest jobs to get done coming into that round. We painted the picture of, hey, lockdown's available. You need to be able to ult that and not get hit by that no command. He pops it early, doesn't get too far ahead of himself. I like to see the aggression, and then he makes up for it, saying, hey, guys, I don't have this ult available for you guys, but what I do have, it's this trusty bad boy, and he reaches into his pocket that is one of those never-ending bags from any RPG game ever, and he pulls out an Odin, and he does Sova things with the Odin.
Sova things indeed. I think they started really strong with that round. They had the right idea as well. It was kind of predicated upon baiting out that Sova ult and then just using their lockdown for an execute immediately. But the heads-up play to just see that lockdown and for SJSU go straight back in with one of their own, it's perfect. They shut it down. They forced the fight on their terms.
And what I was talking to some of the players with UCF, and they were talking about an extra minor change to the Sova, where although that drone is only getting 2 tags, when that first tag goes through, there's a bit more delay to get that Hunter's Fury out. So it's very hard to hit that. Oh, that's why we see only that first tag coming on through. So, I mean, again, shout outs to Nazi for obviously just trying to be aggressive with that one, catch somebody off guard. It didn't quite work the way that they were hoping, but it did the damage. They ended up capitalizing on the round in way of Nazi doing Nazi things. And this one, it should be another one basically for free, barring anything crazy from Northwood.
Yeah, pause through, but it is still just the eco in this round. We'll try and get something done. Sheriffs, a Marshall, few odd bits and bats to find some damage, but thus far, the only man picking up damage is Teddy. He wants more out towards mid as well, just trying to peek his way through, but doesn't find anything else, but nor does he overcommit and fall with that operator. Mid control, however, has been lost, and now someone from SJSU will have to be dispatched in alley. What a shot, I believe, just from thin air there. Teddy is plucked down, but Big has the resurrection. All good.
Your duty is not over.
Maybe a small angle that could have been wall banged, but that doesn't come to fruition. Now you see him trying to send the wall bang back in response with that operator. Nano Swarm Fragment, both used to clear tree here, and Toy Boy forced to back away. The alarm bot taken down, but it's the Nano Swarms to start to cook the players of Northwood. They push onto the site. They're awarded the plant. And out towards mid, Nazi gonna be met by Ollie. The crunch, it's not allowed this time around, and now it's SJSU in a tight crunch here, but Verbsa, the last one standing on the site, will eventually be met by Chris, and it's a 6th for SJSU.
They take some damage, it gets darn close, but still, SJSU coming out on top of these rounds. They realized the risk that was being taken over towards mid and trying to recommit to clear that space, so they just give it on away. Instead, just like to play retake practically everywhere, giving a lot of respect over to those lesser weapons, which is well deserved, but in this game, Northwood still struggling. This round could be massive if they can swing it back towards their favor. A salvageable half, and they have the resources to make it work. An attack side operator for Dip, a player that was so impactful in the first 2 maps, and still that null command available.
And again, you can just see the homework done here by SJSU, because it is not uncommon to see players get aggressive into B main and fight for this area, but understanding that there's always a chance for that Omen flash and dash play, they just concede that space. They're welcoming you into that B site, and they're gonna use what the Killjoy and Sova do best. They're going to use that utility to slow you down, try and stall. Speaking of utility, Ali up atop the wall. He'll concede his position and back away, understanding that maybe he's getting a little too crazy.
Yeah, that one feels quite crazy to commit to. There could have been an operator just holding in towards that angle. Big risk, but nothing really comes of it, and sometimes you gotta make those plays. You gotta let your confidence flow. The Odin letting the sea of bullets flow in towards main, but neither side really receiving significant damage. It is still just this default for the attack of Northwood, trying to feel out, trying to see if SJSU will give anything away, but they have been stoic. They're not giving opportunities, they're just taking them. Ali is down, that's your smoke's gone. 40 seconds left on the clock, and nothing really gained here for Northwood. It looks like they want to set up in the late round over towards an A hit, but there's 3 players anchored. That Killjoy utility in mid was never dealt with. So there's still an alarm bot that can be trusted in that space, which means all these players will be sticking around. And it means that there's still slow orbs, there's still utility to delay. They are trapped into this play A main.
And no command to try and get things started. It's all up to the weaponry, all up to the rifles, and Teddy gets us started with 2 huge kills. Dip has to answer to Thig, and he falls as Tyler battles back for 2. A resurrection just around the corner, but it's in such a bad spot. A Vandal retrieved. 30 HP, the spike in hand with just no time. He walks away, he'll hang on to the weapon, but the round conceded, and it's now 5 in a row for SJSU.
And that pause was already used. It's not an option. They have no second chance to slow things down, at least until we hit the second half of play here. Really tough situation. It was super slow to start there for Northwood, but as you see here in the LLS replay, it was just Teddy. Perfect position. He holds the tight corner that they thought they had already cleared, because earlier on they had dispelled that space, but it's just a repush back in, reestablish on that line for the Jet of Teddy, and punished with a 3K.
More information garnered from the 0 point. They haven't quite been able to exploit the defense here inside the tree room. It's a fragment in the close corner. It's a pistol in the hand, and the Vandal wins that fight 9 times out of 10. And unfortunately, this was not one of those ones, but for Ali, there's the one time that you need a win, and Tyler's got himself the hero rifle. Now the defense has been cut in half, and well, the other 50%, they've been revealed. Joy Boy gonna give up the positioning, will pop one of the swarms, look to back away and hang on to this B site. It's an awkward buy. It's not a great one for Northwood, but they're a player ahead.
This Jet is coming back to try and cut rotations in through mid, but I don't think anyone's gonna risk fording that river. Instead, they'll look just to head over towards this A site. And the rotation is well timed. This operator could be on the scene. There is smokes available. It looks like the hit will beat out the angle for the Jet. Hunter's Fury committed, but Teddy, he just wants to fight. Bladestorm in hand, gets one. He's committed deep in through that Hunter's Fury. The trades are there, though, and now Chris has made a play forward, can even commit back, keep himself alive. Paranoia is up. It's a 2 versus 2, and now time plays in the favor of the defense. Chris just holds the line, and Chris claims all 3. 8-1, SJSU are unstoppable.
Unstoppable, 6 now in a row, only losing the bonus and making sure that when they're winning out on these rounds, they're doing it in style, they're doing it confidently. The credit's never an issue, and the worst part about that last 2-piece that was picked up by Chris is Tyler was the player with his back turn. He had the hero rifle. You swap those roles and maybe that round goes different, but that's in a different universe, and unfortunately I'm not Doctor Strange. I can't take you guys there. I can't look into those universes, but what I do know is we get back to it for Northwood. Drone out towards main. Rifles in hand, and the aggression was spotted, but Teddy was hoping there was a bit more behind the drone. Nothing to be had, so it's just the position noted of the operator.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like Teddy cares about that one. Just reestablishes on that line, drone comes back through, and on the other side, Joy Boy isolates a kill, takes it down. It's a similar contact play that he's done before, and now Joy Boy is grabbing more. 3K picked on up. There's no answer whatsoever. Northwood is still locked out of this one. Joy Boy is still looking to fight. Benji is smoked off. Eventually, the Killjoy dies, but it just feels too little too late. Only a minute left on the clock, and only 1 man to stand for Northwood.
Yeah, it's Benji. Needs 4 on it, has the lockdown. Some util coming back to him now. We'll have that turret available, but look at the angles held. He's triangulated here on the A side. He'll take the first, it's Thig to fall. Now Chris, maybe next up to the plate, unless it's gonna be Teddy to try and take a swing, but nope. Chris will find another 4 kills in the last 2 rounds, and this is the SJSU, that if you give an inch, they take a mile.
I mean, they're laughing, they're having fun. Like, SJSU at this point, the confidence is at an all-time high. They're chilling out.
Yeah.
They're feeling good in this game. They are feeling confident. And confidence is so incredibly tough to break, especially when you're already at a deficit in the way of the bye, when you're starting from a disadvantage. Teddy, since buying this operator, he's like barely died. This guy has just kept a presence up with that op, and even when he does fall, the rest of the team is so strong to hold that line. Oden v Odin, they're trying to take down Nazi, and well, damage is dealt. That'll be unconfirmed, and Nazi is still around. Did Ali catch that dart? Looked like he might have for a moment, but it's broken, so no ping, no harm.
A little bit of harm out towards mid. Teddy gonna be traded out here, so that's the op down. It's market control now conceded over to Northwood, but Nazi and the Odin, there's just nothing better as Ollie looks to push his way on through. Now Nazi in a tough spot, a player in front, 2 players behind. And it's the Odin, or the Ares, the baby brother of the Odin, that'll eventually find the kill there as Chris goes on the hunt. The lockdown expended in this round, and Tyler wanted to go aggressive. He wanted to try and take down that bit of utility, and he's punished for it as Ollie holds it down, back sight, and they walk right into the crosshair.
Someone needed to step up. Someone needed to go big, and Ollie, he puts the onus on himself. He gets it done. A second round finally. But is it too late?
Hey, is it too late? Yesterday we saw a little bit of that 9-3 curse, the fabled, but it was Northwood, the team that was ahead at 9, who almost let it slip away. And for their sake, it looks like they can muster up a bye. It's not great. It's a yard sale buy. It's sticks and stones. They got some slingshots, some light shields. No, the weaponry is great. The light shields and the utility might be a little less. I love this, though. I wanted to see this, but like you said in the last round, is it a moment too late? Just because you can't flash and dash does not mean to stop taking this B site and to stop doing it quickly. They have tools to clear off the angles. They take that B main space, and they buy a rotation doing it.
But still, there's 2 players here over towards A, and SJSU have already shown to us that they're very competent in these retakes. It will come down to that. As the Omen teleports on over, Spike should soon be planted, but the realization has been made here. Now the question is, does Northwood take a fight? They still have a player positioned out towards mid. The Sova could find a relurk in the late round, but already that space is being picked back on up. And SJSU, they have a Paranoia, they have a Sova dart around the corner, they have tools for this retake, but they've just lost a big one with Nasi falling in mid.
And Odyssey going down doesn't feel great. The resurrection, though, will bring him back. Shieldless, armorless will be the Sova. He's going to queue himself up a Hunter's Fury. Want to clear things out, but you needed to find Ali because he's the problem for the squad. As Ali takes control of the last 2 rounds of the half, and he'll find it 9-3. It's SJSU on top, but momentum the way of Northwood as we swap sides.
Now this comes down to the pistol round. If NU can win out the pistol, they can turn this ship back into their favor. They can very much still do this. They proved to us yesterday through the defensive side is where they feel comfortable. It is where they feel their best. They are now on their stronger side. They've gotten a breath of fresh air with winning those final 2 rounds, and the momentum behind them. This is very much possible.
Very much possible, but like you said, it all comes down to a very important round. This pistol that we're in, they're going to be mounting themselves. Their defense, we see Benji getting set up as we close out the LLS replays. I mean, again, you give them an inch, they just take a mile. You can't give them these individual plays. You can't give them individual fights. If you do, it takes heroism. It takes so much of that, and fortunately, they've got that in way of Ali. The knockout for the last 2 rounds, and he goes right back to it. A couple of jabs out towards Teddy, and it's a Jet already fallen.
Yes, but the A site 2 has been lost. The space gain and the value in that Sage to hold down space. However, no one ever cleared Hell. No one ever checked on Benji. This man is stuck around, and he's now finding value. Nasi on the trade back, and still, that Killjoy in Hell is an issue. Will be contended with, but not before he gets another. The jumping classic. All it takes to close. That's the pistol round. That's the one they needed. Northwestern They're breathing. They're alive. They've been resuscitated in this one.
They have been resuscitated. What I would love to see, and we might get to see it now that we're on the defense, is Dip might need a little mouth-to-mouth. He needs some resuscitation. He's been having a slow game, but what's missing? The operator. That is where he really started to shine. And the shorty. He had that shorty in his back pocket as well. And coming into this round, he hangs on to that Sheriff, understands, hey, I start to bolster these credits. I can get that off early in this half.
Yeah, but look, a Force Spy's coming through. Spike Plan came on down, that extra 300 credits. They're taking the risk in this one. SJSU, they could completely deny any momentum if they win this round, but if they lose this, if Northwood is able to swing that economy and that momentum back towards their favor, that gives them a massive opportunity to close this gap. This is a huge risk being taken by SJSU.
Ali into Wine, expecting something out this way. The microwave setup as well. And Space being taken on the opposite side of the map. Look at that, having that ground set, the safety, and Ollie plants his feet and takes down two. The two-piece and the biscuit, he wants more, but he finally is answered back. Nazi and Toy Boy find themselves in the kill feed.
And now this spike is coming down. There's utility to work within the post as well. That Killjoy's still alive. Shock darts for Nazi. The HP is low, at least on towards one of these players. It'll come down to the retake.
Comes down to the retake. 2 through tree, 1 up in heaven. Is the dash available? Choi Boy goes just a bit early, trying to catch him off guard. Now Chris has to hold on, but the 2 from tree, they grow just a bit too large. And slowly but surely, 1 round at a time. That's how Northwood University is working it.
That's such a risky call to make. 9-4, 5 rounds in your favor, and you risk it all on a Force Spy. I mean, the economy is going to be in such a bad spot now for the side of SJSU, but damage was dealt on both sides, so they want to play the Force Spy wars? Not quite. They'll save on through, and their opponent will reinvest on in. It always gets weird with the Force Spies on Force Spies, but SJSU do cut their losses.
Sheriffs, marshals, getting the whole police force into this one for the attacking side of SJSU. And we've seen these weapons do damage. We've also seen this do damage up towards mid. Alarmbot taken down, Nanoswarm not quite activated. And Ferbza expecting some aggression here. And once more, it's not Ferbza making these individual plays, killing 5 players. He flashes for himself and a teammate, finds good damage, backs away.
And again, it's another one of those plays. Contact off the turret, value found off of it. And now to further that zoning, the knife comes on through for the KO. They realize no one's gonna be main, but that will not be true for long. All 5 members of SJSU re-walking in this space. Now the execute force coming, but 2 players close together on this site.
Yeah, the Sheriff, not enough there for Teddy. Ferbza still holding it down. Benji now stuck in the mud here, back sight, but he just sprays his way on out, and well, things inside the smoke. He creeps onto the other side, and Tyler take him down. The punishment there from Northwood as SJSU, they force up, they come back into this round with sticks and stones once more. And now 9-6 our scoreline as we go into it, a full buy for SJSU, but Dip has got something special for him.
The operator available, Dip. Like you said, it's been a very slow start for him, but the team, they've put him in the backpack thus far, and it's been fine. They've held on, and now he's gotten to the point where he can thrive. He's proven to us already that his defense on ascent is his strongest side, and the operator in hand as well could get a lot of value. In this round, though, no one really testing him, just the one lurker over towards B. The brunt of the force here, just clearing space in a main. SJSU, though, they're just hoping to trigger a reaction, and the reaction, it would likely be Dip sneaking forward with the op. Choi Boy is holding the angle, though. It becomes a game of patience. Who waits longer? And Dip will win that war.
Well, Ferbza wants to go aggressive, but the high ground, Teddy sprays them both down, a huge punish, but Ollie's here. Ollie's alive, he's usually good for 2. He's got his 1, he wants another, but Thing will finally end this reign of terror and grab 2 of his own as Dip's on the opposite side of the map.
This.
Operator in hand, 600 credits, absolutely have to save this.
Yeah, round's over. That'll be the 10th round, SJSU. They took their risk, but they're done with the tomfoolery. The buy came on through. They're done messing around. Good execute over towards A. They punished the aggressive position in A main. They shut down that play. The flash just missing. And the player from the high ground getting value. Good attempt from Ali to at least try to hold on, but there's never really going to be enough there. He might even die here. I mean, they're really hounding him down.
Yeah, only one person on this side, and that person stayed alive. They've still got time. That spike yet to blow, and you still get 6 seconds after that slow orb there. Op shots out inside the cloud burst. Here comes the shorty, and Dig will hunt him down and rip away the operator. The 10th round was always going to happen, but again, the cherry on top, a crushing blow to the economy.
And if you're Dip there, you're having your worst map of the tournament. You buy the weapon that you know you can change the tide, that you know you can get back into things with, and you don't even get to use it whatsoever. He gets nothing done, and then he just gets hunted. That is a heartbreaker for Dip.
That it is. And with this, a buy here for Northwood. Mustering up all they can. Lockdown available to try and slow things down for the Killjoy from the shadows for information. We'll see how Ollie decides to use that one. And with that orb scooped up, it means not only the Resurrection, but the Hunter's Fury also online for SJSU. And although it's not great to use that drone ult combo, a lot of the teams nowadays are using that Hunter's Fury as that sight-hitting tool.
That's true. It's a stronger setup over towards A here. 3 strong for the defense, but don't get me wrong, the setup towards B is potent as well. Contact play in mid, that alarm bot goes off. Flash forward, the KO can get value. Benji will is isolated. He has util to play off of, ready for the dart to hit towards that tree, but the drone is coming through. Ooh, Benji might just be in trouble. He needs to get a lockdown here in the back lines.
Yeah, he does, but that right there, that 0 point reveals everybody, and it's gonna slow things down. Smokes were out, so they could have still looked to hit that one, but with no abilities, it gets rough.
And that's the Omen TP, right? That's the A player leaving, but look at where Dip is. This is Dip's chance. This is his opportunity. The dart misses him. He's holding in the close corner. Judge is good for 1, 2. Dip, he needs more. And the third, absolutely. Dip for 4. It's not the ace, but this man has come alive.
Dip finally here. We thought it'd be the up. Instead, it's the Judge. And now Nazi needs to try and match that same Dip energy as he plays around the generator. The first one steps up to the plate. It's a knock out of the park. But Ferbsa silences anybody who thought that would be a winnable round for SJSU. As we take a look back, the LLS replay giving us everything we need on how that round played out. The quadruple Dip. He's getting his germs everywhere with the Judge. And Nazi just stuck in a tough spot. Gets the spike planted, sure, but immediately gets run down. 3 players to worry about. And it's another round going the way of Northwood University. They show some signs of life, and they show some signs that it's not just the Ali show.
But they're still very much they're still very much in the woods here, right? Like, this buy is rough. They win that round, and they still can't fully reinvest. They lose this one. Their money will go straight back to being crippled, and look at the ult economy. There's a lot available here for SJSU already. Hunter's Fury committed. They have the lockdown as well for this execute, and they'll use it.
And the Hunter's Fury, it was just picked up for Northwood, but he's across the map. Unfortunately, Tyler won't be here to stop this. A few angles that are still safe as the recon bolt goes out. Teddy now to dash forward from the shadows used to secure these positions. And now Chris will assume his underneath heaven. Dig to plant. Resurrection available should they need it if they find the position. Hunter's Fury, it doesn't get anything on the opposite side. No, it does! 2 kills go the way of Tyler in the retake. It's magnificent. They're gonna opt in to the lockdown just to try and secure it as Choi Boy waits at the entrance, tries to answer back and buy some time, but he's only got the alarm bot and a Vandal to do it. Hopping on the spike, it's a family photo just around the corner. Dip to close it out. He's been resurrected once more in the round to Northwood.
SJSU need to pause, but this is getting really dangerous for them. Northwood is back into this. Their confidence has been reinstilled, and the shutdown on some of these preset plays, they read into what's happening there. They understand SJSU have a heavy ult economy. There's a high likelihood they're just going to look to execute here off that KJ ult, and they do. They play into it, and then the retake is just perfection. Despite the strong start for SJSU, Northwood is still proving to have that comeback potential, to have that goal, to stay in these games. And now the money, that is shot as well. It's very tough here for SJSU, and already the round is off to an utterly swimming start. 2 kills picked on up, no reply from SJSU.
Ali has consistently been winning that fight from catwalk out towards tiles. You just have to stop peeking that angle and giving it over to the Omen. Where there's a will, there's a way, and he always finds a way. So a rough start to this one, although the buy's not the best. SJSU hoping to at least deal some damage, try and hurt the economy to the best of their ability. Force some reinvestments. Dip on the angle, doesn't quite land the shot, but he's able to go right back to it. The Sheriff's not too threatening. A Nano Swarm to buy the space. I said the Sheriffs weren't threatening. Toy Boy making me eat my words. Another Nano Swarm, but a beautiful recon. Bolt, Tyler scoops one up through the wall. Chris tries to answer back. It's just not enough. Now here comes Nazi. A similar situation. We've seen this. A 1v3.
Scanning ahead.
Just feels impossible. And well, Ali gonna make sure that it is impossible.
Another relatively clean round there. Operator stays in the hands. You can toss that back on over towards Dip. But the buy's back through. SJSU at least have that to work with. But what's the answer? They've generally been playing this one a little bit slower, defaulting on through, but I think they're missing some of the checkboxes in that default. There's normally this Killjoy utility staying until the very last moments of the round. There's always an alarm bot holding down towards mid, be that a shock art lineup or someone just phase checking, getting rid of that space. You need to create that pressure that someone can rotate. You need to create that pressure that there could be a lurker in your backlands, because thus far, the majority of these hits have been quite telegraphed by SJSU, and sure, their executes are strong, but Northwood, once they got it figured out, they are a very respectable team, and they will not let you get away with murder.
No, they will not. And it seems at Northwood University, they've collected themselves, and they now understand the assignment here on Ascent. A deeper drone here from Tyler. We'll see how much he can get out of this one. Just making his way on into main. And he spots the turret, but that's been audibly compromised already. Nano Swarm out into wine to make sure nobody's in that position. The A site, unbeknownst, is completely clear. It's going to take a drone to confirm that information. Wall goes up. No door closed just yet. The wall's immediately taken down. They trade damage back and forth, but Ali getting the better half of the trade again. The resurrection is available here in the retake, and Ali wants to fight for it as the smoke goes down. The spike follows, but so does the Omen.
There's still utility available on this KO, and there's still shock darts up for Tyler. He even has more to work with in this one. These players are being isolated and taken down, but Choibo, he has a sneaky angle, and he gets 2 off of it. The trade comes through, but that KO is on the floor, and the operator towards heaven is down as well. Teddy yet to even be spotted. Chris here, it's a crossfire. They're walking into a death trap. Northwood, they had the momentum. They were building into this one, but it's been stolen back by San Jose.
It's been stolen back, and Ali just getting a little too far outside himself. He's been making plays. He tried to make that solo play. As the smoke dissipated, he gets punished. And we know how strong that Northwood can be as a full 5 when they're retaking together. And when your Omen's down, you don't have that paranoia. You can't smoke things off. It makes the retake so much harder. And we saw it there in that. It made it so SJSU could lock that one down once they got that spike planted. And well, similar setup out towards A. Aggression here. Turret down. Teddy gonna take down Ali. Gets revealed. And Ali's just giving it to him here at this point. Teddy will gladly accept that kill. Open arms. Gives him a hug.
And they pause. They wait. They're trying to see what the reply will be out of Northwood. Thus far, Northwood, though, are holding to their guns, but they have to start to get nervous. Tree room has been conceded. Someone could have walked up towards heaven. Someone could have walked up towards B main and be deep in that position. However, none of those fears will come true as that knife just a second too late. And now the ult is popped. A site should soon be compromised, but still 2 towards heaven looking to hold this down.
Yeah, they just want to stand and fight. There's a few safe spots with this lockdown. Nobody detained. Resurrection. Can they bait it? Oh, it's Nazi to fall instead as a slow orb comes out. The defense stalwart here, but the robot spotted and the paranoia had him blinded. Removed his Verpsa and dipped 70 health from meeting that same fate. A 2v4, an awkward situation, and there's nothing really to work with here for Benji.
I mean, the money's in a weird spot. Do you even justify for going for this? 2 versus 4, the utility's already limited. There's a lurk in through mid. I don't think they even know about that yet. And a wall locking them out towards heaven this round feels nigh on impossible.
A player just underneath the close corner cleared. It's Teddy to fall thing. Next up to the plate, and SJSU. They're starting to battle back, and they found themselves map and series point here in the CECC Grand Finals.
1 step away. And look at that money. Northwood University, they have put up such a battle. They have built so deep in towards this map. And now what do they have to show for it? 3 rifles, couple Spectres, lesser armor, lesser utility, I'm sure, for some of these players. And their ult economy just not up. SJSU. It's in the palm of their hand now. 3 opportunities to close in regulation.
And what's the play, right? A different look. They wait for that 0 point. It reveals nothing. Now they'll assume those positions. With a minute and 30, it's just like the round just started. But you're without a 0 point on the opposite side, and you're without information for Northwood University. Spike leaning out towards B. Team leaning out towards B here for SJSU, but they're about to run into dip.
I think this is the right play, though. The defense has realized this. They redroned in through mid, so know that that space is clear for the moment. Dip is ready for this B play. He's had a rough map. This is his moment to shine.
Yeah, Dip with a dash available. He gets away to safety. Does anybody penetrate? Nobody does through the wall, but the paranoia will turn out the lights for just a moment. A dash onto the site, but a player in Verpsa just on the inside of the smoke. He comes out with the flash. We go 1 for 1. Vulnerable are the players here on sidewalk as Dip is in the corner, tucked away. Benji holding it down backside. Tyler falls to Joy Boy. Dip to follow, and SJSU are doing everything in their power to close it out. 16 teams showed up to this to test their strengths, and it's SJSU to rise back to their glory and find themselves sitting atop the throne of the 2022 Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup.
They reclaim it. They've been here before. They've had these moments. They've been on the international stage. They've won so many events. But for this previous season, it looked like they had fallen. It looked like they had stumbled. It looked like we had a new challenger rising. But SJSU, they proved that they were never out of it. And here again, they're your champion.
Again, your champion. Gods can bleed, but it was up to Northwood to prove if they could die. And SJSU just refused to go down, refused to give up. They wavered, they looked beat. We saw them in the player cam, slumped in their seats, but they reel it back in, they get it done, and they prove why they were coming into this tournament. Top 1, top 2, the expected winners of this. They proved why we were a little shocked when we would see that they were losing maps here, having close maps here. The series kind of getting weird. But at the end of the day, they silence everybody. They do it again. And the LLS replays, they just show us exactly how they reclaim this fame.
I mean, every single one of these players proving their worth throughout this map. Big step-ups from the duelists, from the support line of Choi Boy, the coordination for this squad. 2 years that they have played together, not just in the collegiate scene. They've been playing out in the Tier 2 scene. These guys are grinders. They have been committed to their craft, and the rewards are showing fruitful.
Showing fruitful. You see the excitement. And here in just a moment, we might get to hear some of that excitement as it comes down to the last round there. But now out to the stage for the interview and the trophy ceremony.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the front stage here. Let's give a big round of applause for your winners of the first ever Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup, Valorant, SJSU San Jose State University. Well done. So I'm here with Choi Boy. You guys have been unstoppable all year long in the collegiate space. How does it feel to win the first ever Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup?
Honestly, it was deserved. I think we've shown ourselves, proved ourselves, and this is just another title in the books.
All right, well done, well done. How is the team feeling right now after a massive win? We heard it here in the arena, but tell the folks at home.
We're ecstatic. We're proud. We're hyped, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. So I mean, I'm more hyped than them, but it's great because I mean, for me personally, this is my last semester for collegiate, so it's a great way to end. You know.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Well, Troy Boy is going to go down in history here. SJSU is the first ever Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup winners here. This is amazing. You guys did, seriously, you did so good. Well done. But without further ado, let's have our trophy ceremony. Introducing once again the COO of CSMG, Ray Katz, the EVP of CSMG, Angela Bernhard Thomas, and the CEO of Skill Shot Media, Todd Harris. Let's make some noise one more time. Let's go. Absolutely welcome, everybody. All right, so without further ado, let's present this trophy to SJSU.
On behalf of the CECC event producers, Skillshot Media, EsportsU, and CSMG, and our incredible presenting sponsors, Microsoft and CDW, who are also the Valorant Trophy sponsors today, we'd like to recognize, after traveling a long way and a hard-fought battle, the Valorant victor in the first ever CECC championship, San Jose State University, and let's recognize the MVP of our CECC Valorant competition today, Nazi.
Nazi! Let's make some noise for the MVP of San Jose State University and the champions of the CECC Valorant. Well done.
Nazi being crowned MVP, what do you think, casters? Was it deserved?
Absolutely. I mean, like, I like watching these guys, like, we're all like sitting up here, like on the desk, like watching what's happening, watching what's going on. The adaptation I loved from SJSU, absolutely. Like, I think it was great. I was a little bit concerned. It was looking like a 9-3 curse. I was like, uh-oh, like they're losing round to round, back to back, but they ended up clutching it out, and I think that's what's important. The casters mentioned it, right? Tanner said it. It's the fact that they were slumped in their chairs, but they pulled up their pants. They were like, hey, listen, like, we can handle this. We can do this. And that's how they ended up closing out those games. I love how they played, actually. They adapted really, really well after they were losing for several consecutive rounds.
Yeah, we said this is either going to be like the predominance of the ruling team or it's going to be an underdog story, and it looks like it is an underdog story. You were all wrong, I'm sorry to say, in your predictions.
Were we though?
Yeah, you were.
No, that is literally, yeah.
I said I was going to take us down with the ship. You know, I'm glad I could do that for all of us. I'm glad I was able to bring this out. One might call it nauseating, but you know, we do what we can.
You're still wrong. Like you finally gave in and was like, I'm going to agree with you guys.
Yeah, no, I was like, you know what? Let's put it to the test. Let's see if this is actually the truth. And I'm like, here we go.
Yeah, and the comments from San Jose State, it was deserved. We've shown ourselves. We've proved ourselves. This is just another title in the books. It's interesting. We're calling them an underdog, and they're like, no. This is what we deserved. We worked for this. We proved it. Do you guys think that was a deserved confidence there?
Yeah, I mean, like, once again, like absolutely. I think the biggest thing to keep in mind as well is the fact that, like, a lot of these teams coming into this, like, we had seen a lot of collegiate stars in previous games, as well as their Valorant standings, right? I mean, like, once again, like, we received, like, the word from production, like, over 3,500 hours played in Valorant, literally the most here for this entire weekend from May 6th to the 8th, right? There was a lot of discussion about Northwood. There was a lot of discussion about Central Florida. There were a lot of things that we had seen that had happened that sort of, like, drove us to be like, okay, well, I mean, that's cool, you know, like, that's sort of how, like, we're expecting this to show up, but we hadn't seen San Jose, right? We hadn't actually seen how well they were able to adapt to a lot of those situations, and of course nerves and a bunch of different things like play into factor here. And I think that's what's so beautiful about this story in particular is the fact that it is something to be able to see someone that's been together for 2 years. They've been here before, right? They've understood what it is that is at risk here, and they deliver.
They did. Well, I want to talk more about this game, but we have a lot to go over today for our Barbasol post show. So let's rewind. Let's remember years and years ago this morning when we watched Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Right.
We had our final, our grand final, which was Bay State versus Central Florida. And we had that bracket reset, remember. We went all the way through, and Central Florida came out on top, but Bay State won it in the second time that we went through that whole thing. Any fond memories from that match that you guys want to share?
I mean, Sonics with the 7 stock in that second set.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like in my notes, I literally have Sonics built different. Like, it just showed, like, with his ability to use that tech, like, to not only show engagement, but then also disengagement, the ability to, like, okay, I got to deal with this villager and Javi who's been reckless with us. Like, I'm going to go challenge him off stage. I'm going to do everything I can. Like, to watch him and then have him win that MVP, I think it's awesome to see, like, there's a lot of pressure on you when you're known as that, like, I am the anchor. I am the guy that everybody knows, like, I'm either going to lead us and I'm going to make sure that I take off a bunch of stocks and it's going to be difficult for the other team. I want to make sure that you can rely on me if I am the last guy. And the fact that he can do both sides of it against a rival that he lost to the night before in a local, like, stepping up when it matters most. Shout out to Sonics.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely, I mean, like, Javi and Sonics fighting, duking it out. Every time we saw them, it was an electrifying match. I mean, like, once again, just from the perspective of them being able to adapt consistently throughout the match and on the fly, too, changing up a lot of their play styles, breaking the traditional archetype that we see of both Sonic and Villager was absolutely amazing. And I genuinely loved watching that for sure.
I'm going to pause you right there because I'm just being told that we have a special announcement from Jackie and Polly on the floor and an announcement for a special giveaway. So let's do that right now.
All right. Oh, welcome.
Wait, I thought there was going to be a special announcement, so I'm like looking around. The special announcement was us.
No, there is a special announcement. So let's do it really quick. We are going to be giving away, we did this, announced it online, we're giving away 2 Atlanta Hawks home opener tickets. So if you claim the NFT winner, number 13, remember, you must be present to win. You must be present to win. NFT winner number 13, I.O. Arctic. I.O. Arctic, come to the stage for 2 Atlanta Hawks home opener tickets.
Yay. So there was a special announcement, and we were giving something away.
I was giving away
you were my partner.
I was giving away Hawks
You didn't
tickets.
even tell me about this special announcement. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you. I've had so much fun working with you. Stage hosting has just been an absolute delight. You've just kept me all smiles. I definitely want to thank everyone up at the desk and everyone behind the scenes. It's truly been an honor and probably one of my favorite events, period. So I've just had a blast.
I did too. That's why we got to do this. Take this off.
Oh no! What is happening? No. What's going on? What's happening?
Step.
Okay.
Yes, there we go. Jackie, it's like, you know, the puddle's on the ground. I gotta walk you over the puddle. Jackie, you have been an amazing co-host. We had so much fun. I've never looked a female co-host in the eyes before during an event. So
we're both 6'5", everyone.
It has been seriously, you match my energy. It's been so amazing. Thank you all so much. We are just completing the first ever history Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup.
I know, and do you know who has more energy than you and I combined? They're just like overwhelming with enthusiasm and brightness and vivacity.
Oh.
Lawler.
That's right.
We'll throw it back to the desk. So the most positive, upbeat person I know.
Absolutely.
You got called out.
Oh yeah,
Positive, energetic person.
Jackie's just like overly confident about literally everything ever, and I'm like realistic. So like we balance each other. So it's just banter. I know she loves me.
I didn't know there were puddles down there too. They've been bringing us all
that
these
is
down.
those are actually my tears that she just.
It's the gamer sweat off the brow.
Understandable. Well, we were talking highlights, so I want to make sure we get back to that. Thank you so much for the final words, Polly and Jackie. You guys have been clutch down there, getting us the interviews with the players and all of the insider info from down there. But we were talking about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We were talking about our favorite moments from that. And Blue, you still hadn't shared yours. What do you have to say?
Yeah, the MVP Sonics played great. 7 stocks in that bracket reset. He was in the 2-hole. So he came in second. I think what really set up that successful run from Sonics and that display of just greatness from them was the Flopio change, right? Coming in and taking 2 stocks off of Jake. That was massive. Jake is like the big baller for them besides Javi. And you come in, no one thinks you're going to come in. Like they think Toxic's going to come in or Tony Pajamas, which Lawler, I know you're still saying.
Such a good name.
Yeah.
It's a great name.
Top 6 player coming into the event, never even played. So when you have that kind of lethal versatility in your roster and you can go very deep, it's just how strong your team is. And then you pull out this person named Flopio, who hasn't played all weekend as well, comes in, takes 2 stocks off of arguably a top player in the event, and then it sets up Sonic so beautifully. He didn't even win. Jake won that fight. But still, 1 stock left. Sonics comes in and says, I just need to take 7 stocks, and that is something I can do, and they did it, and UCF gets 2nd place.
That's so right. Props to Flappe especially, and to those winners of our grand final. But we're looking at Overwatch right now, so I want to move on right to talking about your highlights there. Do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Lethal and Tap were the DPS duo that went insane yesterday for Harrisburg. Today, it's kind of like Lethal got put in check, and it was by Echo and Visions. Even when they mirrored the comp, it wasn't necessarily the hero that wasn't the mirror that was popping off. Visions played really great when they had to play Doomfist. Echo played really great on pretty much Cassidy and everything else that they had to touch. Tracer as well. And Gig just did Gig things.
Yeah, Gig was our MVP, remember, so reason to celebrate Gig. What about you?
One of the biggest things it is that I actually genuinely really appreciated about Overwatch was not only their team composition, but like their strategy around that. They had ran Symmetra like on both sides of the team fighting in Lijiang Tower. And then not only that, like we're talking about like the double wall. I talk about this play because I feel like it's so important, is the aspect of utilizing the sound barrier as well to make sure that it counters out the shatter once their Symmetra wall runs up, right? So I think having that sort of level of play is absolutely insane. And doing it preemptively, right? Baiting out one ultimate in use of your other one. I loved how the teams were playing throughout this match.
Anything to add, Lawler?
No, I think Overwatch is probably my least experienced game, but it is cool to see just kind of those counterbalances. As well as teams not afraid to kind of put themselves out of a position to make plays for other teams. I mean, we talked a lot about Gig the whole time. His ability to draw aggro, split, push, allow his DPS to be proficient with applying their own pressure. It's cool to see kind of that split mentality and the fact that now we have Overwatch 2 to look forward to. You know, they're reducing the amount of people. There's a lot of evolution that I think is really exciting to come in the rest of that esport. And to know it's kind of entering its next chapter, I think should excite a lot of people. This is an early preview. So Collegiate with Overwatch 2, who knows what that's going to look like.
Yeah. Now, let's move on from Overwatch. I don't know if we want to start with Rocket League or with Valorant. Your pick, Lawler.
Let's do Valorant right now, just because it's actually on our screen. We can always talk about that. So, yeah, I think Valorant was fun. I mean, we talked about how close it was going to be. We had 2 teams coming in, both 2-0 to that final round, and we're like, this one's going to be the nail-biter. And it was. You saw a lot of ability to adapt from both rounds. You saw the ability for players that had early foundation issues with stock, or not stock. Am I saying that right? I'm completely
San Jose?
Northwood. Someone called them what was it?
Midwood.
1-5 little Midwood. I was like, Jesus, you guys are brutal. But yeah, seeing Northwood come through, and it's like they had early foundations that were problematic. Like they weren't pushing together. They weren't checking peaks and going for trades. And then you start to see that come together. They bounce back at map 2. Then they go back onto Ascent, and we saw a completely different game. And then the 9-3 curse, and we're like, oh no, it's happening. Yeah. Oh God, it's gonna happen. You and I had those discussions, and then finally settled in, had some clutch. There was that wall that came up, and it was on, I think, A site that was hiding behind, and we got that double kill, and then they won.
That was
for somehow, like, there was 2 ops that they lost the trade on. I'm like, what is happening? But yeah, San Jose clutched it up. I'm glad I could curse it for everybody, take the ship down into the seas, and pretty impressive.
Which is also crazy because San Jose State coming into groups, into this weekend was the #1 seed, and we're still calling them an underdog because everyone's talking up Texas A&M, everyone's talking up Northwood, everyone's talking up Hawaii, who's the #1 seed coming out of groups. And to be fair, San Jose State, #1 seed, so you deserve the lower seeded teams in your group, but they were pretty weak teams. I mean, West Virginia, no disrespect to the other 3 teams in there, and then you had Georgia Tech, who is kind of a mid-level team. Then you had Fort Scott, a community college, not much footage on them at all, so you can't even study against them. And they can't really recruit on the same level as like Northwood, San Jose, and Hawaii, and the things like that. So the group was a little bit easy for them. That's probably why they came out as the #4 seed. They were like 3 rounds, or the #2 seed. They were like 3 rounds in the deficit compared to Hawaii in a stronger group with Northwood. So they just proved, like, there's a lot of people out there saying you're not really a #1 seed, but you're a #1 seed, and now they prove we are the #1 team.
Now, I don't want to give Rocket League the short end of the stick. I want to give us time for our final thoughts. So really quick, I'm going to let you, Lawler, give the final thoughts on
I had my Stockton notes up, and I was like, wait, we're talking about Northwood. But Northwood is the team that ended up taking it in Rocket League. It was pretty exciting to see UCF, the 7th seed. You know, they were in a moment where it's like, you know, you have the ability to come into land with confidence with 2 players who've been there, done that with Asfer and Luke. They show up on the stage, they get a chance for redemption. And more than I cursed San Jose, Asfura did it to his own team, calling that 4-0 on accident instead of 4-1,
right,
and then got bodied by Northwood. So
to be fair, we can, you know, blame that he was like injured before the hand, right?
Totally.
I think someone got paid for a little arm.
Yeah,
All right.
it was awesome to see Northwood come through.
Amazing matches. What a great day. What a long and fulfilling broadcast here at CECC. I want to give you guys time to just have some final words, anything you'd like to share with the audience or anything like that, or any of your favorite moments, whatever you feel needs to be said before we unfortunately say goodbye for the night. Let's start with you, Fawn.
Cool. You can follow me at Fawn the Legend on Twitter. The biggest thing it is that I could say is that, once again, like, I live and breathe the aspect of thinking that video games are not just entertainment, they're really like real life. Like, they change a lot of lives. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen with careers. I've seen it happen with players. So for any parents out there that are curious, for anybody that's actually curious, I definitely say go out, go compete, find your friends, just try it, right? There's a spirit of competition that's there that you absolutely can explore. And it's not impossible to be able to reach that same plateau, right? It just takes a lot of hard work and dedication, and that's stuff it is that I've seen competing in a multitude of different titles, right? So I absolutely think that you guys should go out there and play video games. Literally play video games. Like, why would you not?
Good advice. Blue?
I just want it to be known that there was over 575 hours of Valorant played in this building this weekend. And there was over 160 hours of Rocket League and over 309 hours of Overwatch. So
Time well spent.
Yes, time well spent this weekend, and a lot of time in the game, right? But no, you can follow me on Twitter at RealBlueTV2. Real Blue TV.
What happened to the original crowd, Blue?
Paul McCartney hates me. That's all I got to say. It'll be back soon. Don't you worry, all right? I'll be out of Twitter jail soon. But, no, I want to thank you guys. You guys are great. I mean, you command the desk. You tell me when to shut up and things like that, like a boss. You know, we're talking about Happy Mother's Day. You were like my mother for this whole weekend, telling me when to shut up. Lawler, I looked up to you. You were like an icon. Now I get to sit at the same desk as you, which I still don't believe I deserve or even should have, right? And Fawn, I've worked numerous events with you online and in person, and I always have a great time with you.
Absolutely.
Whether we agree on something or not, it's always for the best, and that's what makes us so dynamic, is because we can have those disagreements in a game.
I'll go ahead and give you a hug.
So much love on this broadcast today.
And production as well. I know the two big dogs back there, Austin and Dylan, they keep putting their trust in me. I have absolutely no idea why. I know they cannot stand me. They put up with me, and I'm like this 24/7. I don't know how they do it. It's probably why they ignore my DMs.
They're in my ear saying, yeah, I don't know why we do it either. Please wrap up, Anna. Please make them stop talking. Yes. I haven't had Lawler's last words, though.
I'll keep it short and simple. Obviously, thanks to all of you guys at home watching, hanging out with us. Without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this. The other side of it is Happy Mother's Day. Mom, I love you. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you to all the moms out there. And again, shout outs to production. Without you guys, we can't do this. So they are working very, very long days alongside us. Yes, we're on broadcast. Yes, we're the face. But without them clicking the buttons and making us be able to sound and everything, we can't do this. So it is a true team effort. And everybody, long days, you guys killing it. Absolutely killing it.
They really did support us so well. Thank you all for being here. This has been so much fun for me. I love sitting at this desk with you. It's been great to get to watch this entire tournament. That's what we love doing, right? Watching esports and talking about them. If you want to hang out with me, you can find me at Anna Prosser, anywhere that social medias are sold, or at annaprosser.com. And just like these fine people have been saying, video games are really an opportunity for us to find common ground and remember the importance of playing together. It's really a fundamental human thing that we have to do. So I feel blessed to have this be part of my career and something that we get to do as our job. So thank you for making that possible. And thank you to Barbasol for making this post-show very possible. Unfortunately, this is that time to say goodnight.
You can't keep them quiet ever.
No, you can't. But right now we have to say goodnight. We can't do that without saying thank you to the players, the viewers, the attendees, the sponsors, the vendors, the partners, and the so many others behind the scenes working tirelessly to bring this event to life. We want to say congratulations again to our 4 champions. First, Bay State University, the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Champions. Illinois State, our Overwatch champions. Northwood University, our Rocket League champions. San Jose State, our Valorant champions. On behalf of everyone at CSMG, Skillshot Media, EsportsU, Microsoft CDW, our lovely talent team, partners and sponsors, and of course, everyone involved with CECC this weekend, thank you for tuning in and attending the CECC live from Atlanta, Georgia. Until next time, we leave you with the sights and sounds of the first ever Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. Good night, everyone.